What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
How you all been?
I like how Les is the loudest one now.
That's right. I can back up a little if that's better for you.
No, it's all good.
He's always the loudest one. He's got the biggest mouth, that's why.
Oh, it is.
Let's just check to make sure everything's streaming.
So Les is back from doing Men in the Republic.
That's right. It's a busy week out there. You know, someone's going to pay the bills in our family.
$20 to 20.
Yeah, back to 20 bucks.
I was talking with Les. I'm like, we should make a shirt that says "Thinking Out Loud." $20 is $20.
Yeah.
We should all wear those shirts. We should all wear those shirts. No, it was good. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's I guess kind of our 5th episode, technically 4th, we'll say. What do you say? 4th-ish?
4th, I think. 4th,
yeah.
Well, somewhere around there.
And around there. My name is Les.
I'm Vic.
Soup. Thank you again for joining us today. So what? Tell us some stories about your awesome trip there.
It was actually a fabulous trip. Like, it was one of the most wonderful trips I've ever been on in my life. It was great. Spent a lot of quality time with the family.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of time to, by myself by the pool bar, which that's my thing to do. A lot of drinks and, had a good time. Did some excursions, went on some buggy rides. It was neat. It was good. We were actually stayed on a resort where they had a casino there, so that was painful.
Oh, they had a casino at the resort.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's deadly.
Les likes to play the machines.
Oh yeah, no, every once in a while. Actually, that's funny. That's another story. So before I left, I was sitting at a VLT machine.
You sent me a message. Yeah. I remember.
I was sitting at a VLT machine, and so it was like we left on a Sunday morning, and it was Saturday after work. I left work at 3. So I went to Santa Lucia for a couple drinks, just by myself to prep myself up for the trip.
Gotta get those repetitions in.
Yeah, I gotta get a couple of push that button in, So I'm sitting there, and like 6 o'clock comes around. My wife calls. She's like, "Where the heck are you? Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm at Santa Lucia having a drink. Like, I got nothing to do. We have no plans. We leave tomorrow morning." She's like, "Just come home. Just come home right now." And I'm like, "Oh man!" So I just took a picture of my screen. And I had $1,000 in my machine. So I sent a picture to her, and she's like,
"You can say."
No, she didn't say that. She's like, that's pretty good, but can you like, speed it up a little bit and come home, cash out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure," but I didn't tell her I already won $2,700 before that. So I had 2 tickets.
That's smart.
She knows now.
Yeah, no. What happened was,
that's a smart way of doing it too, though. Like,
yeah. So so after she said, "Come home now," I was like, but look at this. So I sent a picture of one ticket. It said $1,250 on it. She goes, "Oh, that's pretty good." She's like, "Yeah, well, I know you're having a good time. You should really come home." So I sent a picture of the next ticket of $1,250. She's like, "Well, you could just have some fun to stay out a little longer. Don't worry about it."
Yeah. Now it's covered.
Right. So yeah. Anyways, they had a casino on the resort, and like, unfortunately, in those like kind of third world countries with the casinos, it's not
developing countries.
Developing countries. They're developing. All right. They got my money from the casino, but it's not really like a fair casino. You always think you're getting like ripped off.
Yeah.
So me and my brother were playing 21 or whatever, and we're blackjack. We're trying to win. And then all of a sudden, this like Dominican girl comes and sits beside my brother, and then starts betting on his hands. Like, starts betting on his hands to like split double
Without asking.
Oh. We're like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Well, you got to play this way." So he starts splitting it double, and then taking the money out of his pot when he won. She's like, "Well, that's mine." We're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
He didn't say anything?
Well, no, we're like, "What do we say?" So I think it was like a cooler. I think they were trying to like get the deck off a little bit by having splits and doubles.
By cooling something, they're trying to cool off you guys winning so much.
Yeah, I think so. Not that we're winning lots, but
no, but something is something, right? Like, I feel like they're not used to losing that kind of money.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think we won a couple $100, but we lost it all in the end anyway. So it's pretty similar to our casinos here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
you gotta know when to hold them.
Yeah,
know when to fold them.
Know when to walk away. That's my problem.
What kind of excursions did you do?
We did. They have these like Jeep buggies, which are like those Polaris, like what do they call? I don't even know what the things are called.
ATVs?
Yeah, they're not the ATVs, but they're like the round cars, like buggies almost.
Yeah.
The Can-Am Spiders.
Yeah, like something like that, right?
Yeah.
So we had those, and it was okay. Like, it's so commercialized. Like, they're like, "Yeah, come for this buggy ride." So you get on there, and then they rip you up like some back dirt road through like these villages. And these kids are like running, chasing you down to like give them money and stuff. You're like, "What the?" Trying not to hit kids.
Chickens flying everywhere.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, and then they like hustle you. They pull you into this like little cafe, whatever, in the middle of nowhere, and it's all set up. And they give you this story saying like, well, this is like how we really make the coffee here, and blah, blah, blah. So you have this one guy like sitting there like in a corner, like just beating some like coffee beans.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is impossible. There's no way these guys make coffee like this. It's just they buy it from the factory and put it here, you know?
Yeah.
So they sell you this dream, and then like everyone's just trying to hustle you when you land there. So you get off these buggies, and then everyone just runs it like, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And you're like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't know what to do. So it was okay. So we went on that, and then we did a catamaran thing. Catamaran's okay. Have you ever been on a catamaran before?
Dude, you can't ask me that. I'm Mexican, dude. We
Well,
swim. We swim.
Oh, you just swim? Everywhere you go? There's people riding your back?
We're like those great sea turtles or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Little fucking things hanging off the back of you.
You lived for a long time, though.
Remember that time in Mexico when we got in Cuba when we got hustled by that dude in the horse?
Oh man, that guy rammed us good, man. We took. I can't believe that he. There was no way that was the cost. You know what I mean? Like
so there's these horse and buggies that shoot up and down, right? And you can use them like a cab, like a taxi cab.
I've been there, like the carriage ones, like
yeah, basically. Yeah.
So the guy goes. I asked the guy how much is it. He goes, oh look, and he shows me the sign. He goes, it's let's say, I forgot how much it was. And we're like, oh, sweet. And I distinctively remember going like for all of us, right? And he goes, yeah, just get on, whatever. So he takes us for a trip, and he drops off at this mall, this artisan mall, which they sell the same fucking shit that says made in China everywhere. Yeah. You know, I was like, come on, man.
It's authentic. It's
authentic Cuban, made in China. Yeah. But then halfway through the ride, he asks for the money because now you're too far away to walk back, right?
Yeah, so he knows.
So he's like, oh no, you guys misunderstood me. It was this amount for each of you.
Yeah, and it was like a ridiculous amount too. It was like this. That's this guy's salary for the year kind of amount.
And it ended up being like something like 10,000 pesos for all of us. Yeah, because he's like, oh no, it's like 2,000 for each of you, and there was like 8 of us.
You're too far away to say, well.
So I'm like, I'm talking to him in Spanish. I'm like, okay, you know what? You fucking got us. You got us. You happy? You happy? Like you good one. You got us. He's like, oh, what are you talking about? I said when we started. I'm like, no, I asked you for everybody. He's like, no, man, come on. I'm like, fuck you.
You should have just said, I'll give you half now and then half when we get back.
I knew there was an issue when the guy looked like he fucking just woke up.
Yeah.
Off of a fucking 3-day bender.
He's good for another 3 days now.
He's trying to fall asleep while the horse is doing all the work. Yeah. Poor fucking horse.
Yeah, that's Veradero, I guess, right?
Yeah. So you see, remember the cow? Did you see the cow when we came right off? Remember when we were leaving the airport?
I can't remember.
There's this fucking cow just in the middle of this bush. I'm like, no wonder these guys only eat pork, man, because that fucking there was
zero meat on their
no
cows.
Kidding, man. It's like fucking walking broth, like just bones, man.
That's true. What's that? Sorry.
No, that cow looked like anorexic, man.
Yeah,
it was like, are they feeding this guy? Like,
I think though, I think because I was talking about that with someone else. I forget where I was, if it was in China or somewhere, and I said like, why do your cows look so sick? And they were saying, no, that's like that's like a regular cow is supposed to look like. It's because like we feed our cows so much steroids and all this crap. They just like are crazy big. Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's something that small. Yeah,
well, luckily here in Canada, there's a lot of standards when it comes to cows.
Yeah.
But in the States, yeah, dude, like they're antibiotics pumped full of all kinds of shit.
Yeah. Well, they're huge. You see those like that thing that was all over, like I think it was Facebook or the news even, the cow that's like enormous, like it's like 3 times the size of a regular cow. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah,
it's like standing in a field with all these other cows, and it's like
2
cows taller.
Yeah,
it's like some giant.
Yeah, that's like the biggest cow, like world record cow, right?
Well, they have those Belgian blues, those bulls. Have you seen those?
No.
The double muscled cows.
Oh yeah,
they're just they're like essentially like ripped bodybuilders, but like cows.
Do they use those for like bull riders, right?
No, they use them for meat, man. They use them for meat. Yeah, wow. Because they have so much lean meat on them, like it's incredible. And it's just genetic breeding.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, they're super jacked. They're like insanely.
There's a dog like that too. That like has like some weird chest.
Yeah,
it's like super ripped.
Yeah, they have a deformity, like a genetic deformity.
That's right.
That stops them like how do we get that? How do we get that, dude? Like
you gotta be able to figure that shit out.
Called steroids.
Yeah, steroids. Yeah.
No, even with steroids, buddy, you still gotta go to the gym and work out.
Yeah, they don't even have to work out those things.
These dogs are just they're genetically like
it's
that.
It's like a mutation.
Yeah.
That just makes them grow muscle.
Well, there's those kids. You ever see those Russian kids on YouTube? Same thing. They have that mutation too. So they're like 4 years old, 5 years old, 6-pack, just jacked. Like holy.
I saw that there's some kid at like some crazy martial arts skill too. He's like doing backflips and like roundhouse kicks at like 5 years old, and he's got like an 18-pack.
Yeah. Well, they're Russian too, right?
Yeah.
So you know.
Well, it's like the same as like dudes from what, like the Netherlands, like the Viking dudes.
They're big.
They're big dudes, right?
Big
like
dudes, yeah.
they're all like really big.
Like they're I think they're the tallest race or the biggest race in the world. They say is like those people up there. It's like they're all mostly, I think, average 6'3", 6'4" is like the average height.
Yeah,
like men and women. Though.
Well, there's that one.
They're
There's one town or city in I forgot if it was Greenland or Iceland, and they, something like 75% of all the strongest people on the planet come from that one town.
Like
they all, yeah,
stuff,
yeah, they all come. They all compete in that strongman competition.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all from one town.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's what the guy from Game of Thrones. What's his name?
That monster,
The mountain.
He's
The
from there
mountain,
apparently. Like he's like
yeah.
that's where he's like from originally, or
Yeah.
his genetics from, or whatever the fuck it is. But
That dude's huge.
He's
you
really
see his
big.
girlfriend?
No.
His
His girlfriend's like
like-
4'6", dude.
Yeah.
That's like Shaq's girlfriend. Like,
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
Shaq's
Yeah.
girlfriend's like this big. Like, he's like, what the? How does that even work? Imagine cuddling. Like, here.
she sleeps in one of his shoes at night, like just tucks him into the fucking sneaker. Like,
It's like, hey, we're going out.
yeah,
Put it in your
yeah, no
pocket.
kidding, man. Shit.
Have you ever seen Shaq's shoes? They're huge, man. Like
Yeah,
I could put my feet with my shoes on in his shoe, and it still isn't. It's still too big.
Yo, like
That's insane.
that guy's like he's also like a genetic monster. Eh? Like that. Dude
Yeah.
is
I think they were saying that about him, that he actually has like some kind of mutation
Yeah.
too with his body.
some
He's
pituitary gland issue.
That's crazy. Like, what's he? Is it size 20 shoes or something?
Yeah,
I have
it's
to-
something ridiculous that he has to get like special custom made
Everything.
shoes. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
The girlfriend.
Condoms.
Condoms. What do you mean, man? They sell fucking sleeping bags.
Like a sleeping bag case.
Yeah, sleeping bag, man. Yeah, exactly. Like the waterproof cases. Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so it was a good trip though, all in all. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, you missed some pretty gnarly weather. You got right, since you've been back, it's actually
I
been
know.
warming up quite a bit, man.
So lucky.
So you went right at the right time and came back at the perfect time too. So
And it's so nice that I came back and like the daylight savings thing happened, so the clocks when they went back, right? So
Didn't they go forward?
back, I think.
I think he went forward.
we
no?
lost an hour.
So
back
it's
then.
forward.
Spring forward, fall back.
So 6 was 5 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back. Well, it depends how you look at it, but back. 6 o'clock. Well, right now it should be.
Every time you mention the word
Alright.
clock,
Clock.
Soup automatically wants to jump back.
Yeah, backwards. Time traveler. But but yeah, no, it's nice to like when like 7:38, it's still light out.
Yeah, when you don't leave for work in the dark and come home in the
Yeah,
dark.
it's so
yeah,
depressing.
yeah. That's such a bullshit thing too, eh? There's a couple of studies that are saying that it's actually more damaging than anything else. Like it just damages your sleep cycle and stuff like that. Because it could take up to like 3 months for you to balance your sleep cycle after that, eh?
Yeah. No, it's one of those things that they say that like people that work, like they work the night shift and stuff.
Mhm.
It's like I suppose like a really unhealthy thing to live.
Yeah,
in that cycle.
But
of
that's why
life.
that's why they get paid a premium, right?
That's right.
That's a health premium essentially. They're essentially getting paid. They're almost getting paid a waiver.
Yeah.
Like you're doing this on to yourself, buddy. Like
Danger pay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
Is Dominican pretty similar to Cuba, or like in terms of like people and beaches and?
Yeah, I think even Cuba's probably more developed that
Oh,
I saw.
really?
Oh
Wow.
shit.
Yeah, like that I saw. Like
Yeah.
I was in Punta Cana, and when we left the resort to like do the excursions over that, like it was very similar to, I guess you guys have probably been there, but like China style. Like it's like they have little shacks for like it's
okay.
like all the doors are open for their stores.
Yeah.
They have a fan blowing.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. But I only went a little bit, through the town there, but. It's pretty underdeveloped, and they just got hit with those hurricanes and shit too, right?
Oh,
like
okay.
recently, like the Haiti got just destroyed again. Didn't they get hit too, pretty
Yeah,
bad?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're still rebuilding from that. The resorts are nice.
Of course, right?
Yeah, the resorts
of
are
course.
nice.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty amazing, like that, like the amount of money that goes into these resorts. Like it's mind blowing.
Well, because it's all foreign investors. There's nobody like, right?
has to be,
Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
money from other countries,
has to be.
right? That's all recreational money taken away from other countries, right? So
Yeah, it's still even at that point, like the amount of money that has to be invested in there. It's like these places are like, I don't know, like what 70 acres more on the coast, like, and they're like huge buildings. Like it's like I guess maybe labor's cheaper, products. I don't know. It's a
Well,
lot of money.
Labor's definitely cheaper.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Right.
Regulations are probably not as bad.
Yeah, exactly. Safety regulations,
You got your shoes?
they're a little lax there.
Yeah.
But well, the same thing. Like in Cuba when we've been there, they have these these 3 old dudes, man. The gardeners, remember?
Mhm.
And they just put around all day. They don't. You never see them do anything like serious. You just see them walking in circles sometimes, like just looking up at the trees. Like I'm like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's the same.
Yeah,
That's the same in the Dominican Republic.
Oh.
Yeah, these guys just walk around. They do get things done, but it's not really at the North American pace.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's exactly the way to say it. Like they get things done, but like
Different pace.
you have to kind of urge. Hey, listen, can you guys actually do something today?
Yeah, they're like, can you actually pay me?
Yeah, no kidding. Listen, I'm tired of getting paid in coconuts. Okay.
Yeah. So what else happened here when I was gone? Soup? Anything?
Vic came out of the closet. I don't know.
Like for this time for real? You went back in last time?
No, I had to go get soup. He was so far in there, man.
Come on, bro.
It was like that scene from fucking Poltergeist, man. I had to tie a rope around my waist and jump in to go get him.
The rope broke and you're both in there.
Yeah, no. Other than that, it's been been busy, man. Been busy. Car sales are doing good. I don't know about your side of
it's
things,
pretty
but my
steady.
side,
Kinda nice.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad. The last 2 months were kind of shitty. This month has been pretty fucking good, man.
It's coming around spring now, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's
You
good.
get that tax money, you know, the down payment starts rolling
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Everyone wants a new car now.
You know, everybody gets a little money to put down. So,
That's
yeah.
It's good.
It was looking for me. It was looking a little grim there. You know, when I switched careers or switched jobs, it was a very long lull there, right? When there was no money coming in.
That's the thing about sales too. There's a transition period. It's like, you know, if you're a young person trying to get into sales, any kind of sales, it's like you got to be prepared for like a 3 month of like really no income because you have to build clientele. You have to kind of learn how to, you know, sell a product. Products are pretty similar, but it's, you know, got to learn the inventory, learn this stuff.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, you get these little questions, right? And I think sometimes, like, there's the obvious customer that comes in and just asks. But there's the guys that come in that try to trip you up. They're like, oh, let's see how much this guy knows about this thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know that. You've encountered these fucking dudes. The guy comes in, he wants this car. And we have it listed for, you know, 16 grand. He's like, oh, that's way too much, man. I'll give you 12. I'm like, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And he calls me every day to see if I've punched any numbers, if I can give him a credit, an interest rate. And I'm like, hey, man, I thought my cars were too expensive, buddy. Like, what are you chasing?
Yeah, no, it's,
You know what I
it's
mean?
hilarious.
So, but
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like being a salesman, you know, you gotta have. I think the 2 key factors of being a successful salesman is you gotta, number one, you gotta know your shit, right? You gotta be knowledgeable, and number 2 is you gotta be charismatic. People will buy from you just because they like you.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
true.
So, yeah.
So true.
There's different there's different schools of sales, and one of them is that, right? People very much are emotional buyers. Like, they buy things out of emotion.
Yeah.
So if you can tap into even, like, you know, if they're there with the kids and they're looking for a van, you say, oh, your kids would be so happy. Look, this thing's got a DVD player in the back.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, as soon as emotion gets involved, then they're way more likely to buy.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that you do. Like I say, me personally, like one of I shouldn't say a gimmick because it's not really like it's my personality. Is that I'll spend a good 10, 15 minutes just talking to people before even showing them the vehicle. Exactly. Before I even show them the vehicle, right?
Mhm.
I know why they're looking and what kind of vehicles, the budgets, little things here and there, right? That kind of go a long way at the end of the day, right? So
and that, like, ultimately that's like a salesman's job, is like to ask all these questions to kind of, because you as a professional, you should know whatever product it is, like where to take them, instead of like showing them 20 different cars that don't even fit their needs, cars, whatever the product is.
No, that's exactly it.
You need to know exactly and ask the right questions, right?
Yeah.
And people appreciate that.
And not sell them on something that they don't need, and then once that buyer's remorse, if that buyer's remorse kicks in, they're not going to sit there and going, what the fuck did this guy sell me? Guy's a fucking asshole. He knew that you know what I mean? You don't want any of that stuff too, because then you lose repeat customers, right?
Yeah, a lot of times it is. And a lot of people just buy, like Soup was saying, like just buy from you because you're likable, or they like you. Like even if they cost an extra $40 or whatever, like they'll be like, yeah, well, I like this guy, I want to give him my sale, right?
Yeah, he was a nice guy. He went a little bit above and beyond and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So no, for me the last 2 weeks have been good. This last week has been it's been exceptional, man. It's been really good.
It's awesome.
It's been really good. So
it's really good.
Yeah. So like I said, that being said, it was looking a little grim there for a bit, but now I'm like very, very happy, like cemented on my decision and what, the stuff that I went through and stuff like that. So it's been good, man. It's good to see an upswing, you know.
Yeah, it's good, and that's the one thing about sales. Like, if anyone's listening that's thinking about going to sales or is in sales, the best thing about it is when it's really good and you figure it out. It's one of the best businesses, or one of the best things you can do for a living. Like, you can make a lot of money in it, but there's a lot of downs too. You know, it's like an up and down ride, right?
Well, that's exactly it. Now, knowing the way February's, January's are, if you can bank 3 or 4 months of good sales, then I won't be worried about February and January.
And that's the problem with a lot of salespeople. They make a lot of money in the summer or whatever, and they're just like, well, yeah, we're going out, and they just the baller buy a new car, do all this stuff, and then they forget that winter's coming, and they're like, oh shit, I can't pay for my car. I can't pay for all my stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly, right. So you have to. For me, it's you know, it's one of those things where now I get the feel. You know, you gain the confidence more than anything else, right? Like, once you make a couple sales, you start gaining a little bit more confidence in what you're doing, the way you're approaching people. You know who's just wasting your time, kind of. You know what I mean? So you can. I'm not saying, you know. I don't really just be like, listen, you're wasting my time. Bye. Yeah, no, but you know how much energy to exert on certain people, right?
Yeah, so, you ask the right questions, and you don't waste each other's time.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's a big thing. But that's good.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man.
Sales is always fun. Sales is always a good time.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, I get to, you know, every once in a while I'll sneak away. I'm supposed to take a Cartagino's. I'll stop by.
Come say hi. Yeah.
North Star Motors there for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah,
well, it's one of the things I couldn't do before is ever just leave, right?
Yeah.
Like I was managing a shop, so I couldn't just leave. I was supposed to expected to be there.
Yeah.
So now that I don't have to, and I can like go out and do these things, but it's great. It is great. It's good, man. It's good to, like, you know, be able to just run out and like I said, I go see Les. Go see Gino. We'll go for lunch or some shit. Like, that's stuff I could never do before. So yeah, man, it's been really good.
Yeah, you get a lot of freedom, but I guess it's like.
But you're not there. You're not selling.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. Like
it's on my own. It's on my own ass if I don't fucking sell anything there. Yeah.
Whatever you kill, you get, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like whatever. Take the time off, I guess. You're only not getting a paycheck. Then don't bitch at the end of the month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Luckily for me, I get a base wage. So yeah.
Then don't show up at all.
No. I still no. Trust me, that base wage ain't no. That's for beer and cigarettes, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
yeah. Soup.
What's up? You're so quiet today.
Yeah,
I'm listening to you guys. I'm
see him zoned out there.
Listening to your sales pitch. You're trying to sell me on sales.
This guy's listening to the podcast.
It's a good show, hey?
So,
Anyone got any big plans for the summer? Like, summer is like just kind of it feels like just right around the corner. You know, like it's warm weather, +8, +10. Like,
we're gonna go. My buddy Phil, who was the guest on couple episodes ago, we're gonna go visit him. We're gonna go do a road trip with the family. We're probably gonna stop in Calgary, visit some family there.
He's still calling him his friend. He hasn't told the people yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's okay. We already know. Like,
hey man, my wife's watching, guys. Come on.
She knows too.
The way you guys look into each other's eyes, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. Fill up.
Yeah. No, I kind of want to get to the cabin a little bit more this year and do a little bit more fishing. Like,
where's the cabin?
Sandy Lake, Manitoba.
Oh yeah.
You know where Riding Mountain is?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah. About 15 minutes from there. So, I kind of want to try to do that a little bit more this year. Like, one of the things that, just kind of evaluate a little bit more family time, stuff like that. Just more recreational time, like use it properly and.
Yeah, that's the good thing about the summer. It's like the winter, like this winter for sure. I noticed it was for me personally, it was like such a long, bad winter. It was just so cold, like felt darker, like so dim. Like, I'm looking forward to summer so much, like more than any other year for some reason. This year was just so bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can handle snow. I can even handle the cold. It's that darkness, man, that gets you, man. Right? Like just
like you said, leaving when it's dark, coming home when it's dark.
You get 4 hours a day of sunlight, and you're at work when you're doing it.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we have really brutal winters, like comparable to.
The rest of the world?
Like
no. Comparable to Mars.
Comparable to Mars and the North Pole.
Yeah.
It was minus 36 on Mars, and it was like minus 41 in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Like, we're fucking colder than another planet.
Yeah. People are always like, why do you live there? Why don't you just move? You know? And then every year it's like, I love this. Don't get me wrong. I love Winnipeg. The people here are awesome. This is my hometown. I grew up here. I'm fucking a Winnipegger, 100%. But man, every year the winters just beat you down, and every
closer,
year
closer.
you're like
Every year
less. You're like thinking about like, where can I move? You know what I mean?
It
Every
just
year,
slowly
you're just
chips away.
why are we
Just
still
chips
fucking
away
here?
slowly. Just
Yeah.
one little chip
Your
every
soul
year.
just gets like,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's why you see all these snowbirds when they're 70 because it chipped away over all the years. Now they're like 70.
They're
Like,
like,
fuck it,
this.
going to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And as you get older, it's like the summer seems to go by so much quicker, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it totally does.
I remember when I was in grade school, and you'd like after a month you were just bored. You had nothing to do, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, oh man, I wish we could go back to school.
yeah, you're
No.
like excited to go
Really?
back to
Yeah,
school.
yeah. Right towards the end of vacation, I was ready to go back to school.
Wow.
Because you really hadn't seen your friends. Like, there's a lot of things that came into play.
Yeah,
But,
that was always the thing you want to visit your friends and stuff.
But now it's like,
Where's my summer? 2
yeah,
months
exactly.
off?
Where the fuck is my 2 weeks? And like you close your eyes and
2
so like,
weeks.
yeah,
That sucks being an adult. Fuck.
I
It's
know.
like-
Adulting is fucking rough, man.
they tricked us.
Yeah, whoever made us sign up for this shit, dude. Fuck. That guy's a salesman of the year. Fuck.
Fuck, that guy got us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, fuck, imagine that. 2 months off. Fuck, go to school. 9 till 3, 9 till 4. Well, that's a fucking beautiful life. Weekends off.
Weekends off, yeah.
Like every weekend. Oh, fuck.
They actually polled the NHL players. They polled them, what's the worst city for you to go? And it was overwhelmingly Winnipeg.
Everyone.
Like, we were like outvoted. Like,
That's-
the second closest place was not even. Like,
That's only because Saskatoon.
There wasn't even a second closest place.
That's because Saskatoon doesn't have a hockey team.
Yeah, maybe that.
exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Even when I was traveling, this past couple weeks in Dominican, whatever.
Mhm.
Like when I told people where I was from, everyone knew where Winnipeg was, but there was nothing. Like they had nothing positive. They're like, "What? Winnipeg? That's fucking bad, dude." I'm like, well, for me, I think it's home, right? So it doesn't
Yeah.
seem that bad. Like it doesn't seem like a bad place. They're like, Winnipeg, like, man, like. That's like bad. Like it's freezing. What do you do?
Why are you there?
Yeah.
Where are you from? Winnipeg. Next question. Why?
Yeah, it's basically that was the thing, right? And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know.
Well, that's always those questions I always like growing up. Like, out of all the places we could have immigrated to, Mom and Dad, why Winnipeg? You know?
Yeah, those were the questions you were asking.
Yeah.
You know? Why Winnipeg?
That is a really good question. I think that maybe they didn't have a choice, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and also it's like you think about it, it's pretty easy to make a living. That's a key component to Winnipeg is we're very middle class city, so
It's a very stable economy.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't
slow
cost you a
growth.
lot to have like.
That's true.
Interesting fact, man. Like, so, ironically, I want to say great grandfather, during the Spanish Revolution, left Spain to go to Chile on a boat named the SS Winnipeg.
Really?
Yeah, and
So-
then 2 generations later, we end up in Winnipeg.
So it left from the Red River, this boat?
No,
Just right up the
The
red.
paddle wheel queen.
No,
I've been on that boat, dude.
Who hasn't? Yeah, who hasn't? Many a school dance on that boat, man.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That was our grade 9 grad was on
Yeah,
the paddle
really?
wheel queen. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Fuck, you lucky bastards. What was your graduation song when you guys graduated? Do you remember?
Fuck.
It's raining men.
Yours
It was
too?
probably.
Yours too.
I think at that time it was probably. Morning.
Yeah.
Here we
Summer
come.
of 69.
No, like, didn't you guys, like, when you were graduating, they had, like, did you guys have to pick a song as, like, a graduating class?
No.
Like, what they're going to play, like, when they're calling people up in the background? Like,
No.
like an actual song for it? No?
No.
Our school sucks. And I don't remember the song either, but yeah, I know. Fucking Paddle Wheel Queen.
The Paddle Wheel Queen.
Yeah.
Paddle Wheel Queen.
That was our song, yeah.
No, yeah, we had a couple of sock obs there where you would go and take the whole school.
Really? That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I went to-
It was only like at 2:00 in the afternoon though, so.
Well, how old were you? You're not going to get
exactly.
bombed.
No, because
It's only 2 in the afternoon.
of course you weren't supposed to,
You got the Mickey in your sock.
but there was a couple of us,
yeah.
the deviants.
Yeah, the couple deviants.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah.
that's the thing is the Winnipeg's it's a funny place. Like everyone that comes here loves it. But like after they stay for a while, but like people like from the outside just don't. There's nothing you could tell them to be like, no, it's good, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just brainwashed.
I don't know. I like it here.
I do too.
I like it here. I've been to other cities in Canada, and everything's got its positives, but Winnipeg is just home, you know.
Oh,
So,
of course,
and it's always going to be like that. You know, like there's not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the cold winters, man. We just all unite.
Well, that's
a little
what
bit
it
more,
is.
You know, like
It's
everybody's
the
a
cold
little bit.
winters that-
Everybody's so much friendlier because they know at any moment they have to go knock on a
snap.
neighbor. Yeah.
Anyone can snap at any second in the cold.
It's too cold to fight. Like nobody wants to fight.
No
Like, I
kidding.
don't want to go outside. No.
Fuck that.
All right, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Can I buy you a drink? I don't want to fight.
That's why we all say sorry so much.
Yeah.
No, sorry, man.
So apologetic.
I'm not going outside. Going outside.
Let's go outside then. No, you win.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, no. Other than that,
Other than that, speaking of too cold outside, it's like that whole I was away for the is it Jussie or Juicy or is it Jesse? Jesse Smollett.
Well,
thing?
it's spelled weird. It's like JUSSIE,
yeah.
but it's like Jesse.
It's Juicy.
It's spelled really weird. Smollett.
Josie.
Yeah.
It's
So
Jesse.
he's looking at the update is he's being charged 16 felony accounts. So he's looking at like 40-something years in prison.
That's crazy.
Who's this guy again?
Remember we talked about him?
The
he
guy
faked,
the Somali
the-
pirate attack.
Yeah. He faked his he faked a hate crime there. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Fuck.
Yeah.
Guy should be in jail for the rest of his life for like.
But the thing is, he's got a solid legal team. Like he's got a really high-end legal team, and the judge has just permitted it to go live broadcast. So they're going to broadcast his trial.
That's really cool.
Here goes OJ all over again.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it like an OJ trial.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, I'm really curious at how, because the mountain of evidence, you know, there's video evidence.
What's up, G?
Bro. There's like video evidence. There's he signed checks
Yeah,
to them. You know,
yeah.
like what is there gonna because he pleaded not guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went up there and stood. He's like, not guilty.
Guilty
Not
with
even
an guilty with an explanation.
Not even guilty with an explanation. Like, I didn't mean it. Like, it
I'm
was.
interested. I'm interested how they're gonna.
I was
what their
wasted.
defense strategy is, because like those guys are like he has pretty high, like really. I forget the lawyers that he hired
The
are
devil
the
made him do
same
it.
ones that won because Trump had a lawsuit against the NFL. These are the same lawyers that
Yeah,
won the
that's-
case.
There was
So he's got. It's the best.
Yeah.
And like we were kind of saying before, is like he wouldn't have those if they didn't have an idea.
they wouldn't
how-
they wouldn't take him as a client if they didn't think they could win, right?
Mhm.
So
Think.
they have some kind of loophole that they're gonna try to.
pull off, I guess.
deport the Somalis.
Yeah,
that attacked
it's
them.
all their
Well,
fault.
those guys aren't even
That's all them.
like. That's the weird thing is those guys are born in America. They're Americans. They're not. I don't know why they keep referring to them as the Nigerians when they're like, they're Nigerian descent, but they're like, I'm totally American. They're born in America.
like, "Hey,
They're
what's
not
up, man?"
You know, like they keep referring to them as the Nigerians when they're like,
They're gonna call up Dave
It's a whole other
Chappelle.
hate crime.
They're gonna
Yeah.
call up Dave Chappelle to do that character that the black skinhead or whatever it was.
yeah. That was that's a funny thing too. Is I've only heard of them as the Nigerians.
Nigerians. Yeah, and they were born in the U.S. Like I don't know why they keep referring to them as Nigerians.
The last members of their family were like 3 generations ago were from Nigeria.
Yeah, they've been in America
The guys
longer than Jesse Smollett.
The guy's name is Frank.
Yeah,
Frank the Nigerian.
Frank the Nigerian. Maybe their last name is Nigerian. I don't know, but that's weird. But that's
Maybe they're pronouncing it wrong.
probably is a big pronunciation problem.
No,
yeah,
okay, wait for it to hit.
yeah. I got it already.
Okay, good.
I got it a long time ago. I was like
Soup,
trying to ignore you.
Soup. What was the word again?
Yeah, bugger. Yeah. But
People that annoy you. Remember
South Park.
South Park. People that annoy you.
that's pretty funny. That is going to be pretty funny to see. Well, not funny. It's going to be super interesting to
I'm
watch
interested.
that.
I'm really interested to see what the drama unfold. How are they going to defend this guy?
Well, I'm sorry, but like they need to go hard at this guy, man. Like you can't be you can't get away with that.
Can't let
No,
that slide.
they need
Yeah,
to make him an example of him. I
yeah.
believe that too. Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Like that's what they probably went after. Wasn't it like something like 48 years you're saying?
Something like that, like 40
48.
plus. Like at first, it was just like when they first arrested him, they were going to charge him with mischief, like just making a false police report.
Yeah.
And then, because of this, I guess it's such a high-profile case, they
All the
decided,
evidence.
16 felonies. So he's like looking at federal prison, right?
Went from like a celebrity star,
Yeah.
like right into like some high federal, like max security prison. Oh.
That goes to show how much his acting sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, no one bought that one.
No, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's into men, though, so he might have a good time in prison.
Yeah.
He might. Yeah.
That's why R. Kelly's going to jail, because he heard the piece free there.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the R. Kelly interview?
No, fuck that guy, man.
Did you see his interview on
when he had the meltdown?
ABC? Yeah,
I just watched little pieces of the meltdown.
Man, it was funny, man. He was like,
I'm fired for my life.
Yeah.
Like,
I gave y'all 30 years. And he was like, he had a meltdown.
Yeah.
You have to watch it. It's pretty like intense.
But he's doing it like sing song form. Like he's still trying to be like, I believe. He's like, I've been fighting for my life. Like,
it's a new hit next year.
They auto-tuned it and already made it into a song.
No, the funny thing is I watched another video of it. It's like a body language on YouTube. It was a body language expert.
I watched that too.
Yeah, and he's like, and she asked him, okay, so did you...
Black Lives Matter?
He goes, have you ever had...
Black Olives Matter.
Yeah, they do too. Everyone matters. Everyone matters.
No, he goes...
Family matters.
Family matters. Good show. Sorry.
The interviewer asked him, so have you ever had sex with women as young as 13? And he's like, no. No, I have not. He's like, you see that body language, right? Like,
absolutely not.
Yeah,
I have
he's
never.
Like, and I was like, wow, that's so funny because it was just...
Good thing you got an expert for that one.
Yeah.
Can you not do math? 14 times 2 is 28.
I had 2 of them.
Like, so everything they're saying to you is a lie. Absolutely not. He's like, absolutely not. I did not do those things.
Yeah.
Like,
this is all made up. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to see. Though recently you see it a lot now with like celebrities and how far out of tune they are from like society. I think they really think that people are just stupid or something, like stupider than them or something. Like they're like, well, they'll never catch on to this.
They're on that high horse, man. They believe that they can get away with some of this shit.
That's what I mean. But like,
and they have.
Yeah.
I think maybe they
but
have.
You got to pass from the peeing on the girl, right? You got to pass on that, right?
Yeah.
He's going to jail for not paying child support. That's what it was like. That's why he's like surrendered.
Well, because he's got like
what?
Yeah,
that's the most fucked up thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's got like a fuck ton of kids.
Everybody
though, right?
looked it up right now. Please make sure that I'm not fucking lying.
Does he have a lot of kids?
Yeah,
probably.
He's literally not. He skated on the like on that shit. He's in danger of going to jail for not paying child support.
That's the craziest thing ever. He got off from the most like horrific crime in the world, and he's like, "Oh, child support! Fuck, you got me."
Dude, it's like OJ. OJ literally got off. He got off a murder charge, and then beats up some guy in a hotel room, steals back his memorabilia, and goes to jail for fucking 3 years. Like, he's dumbass. You gotta get a. I would be the nicest person in the world.
Yeah, well, if he probably thought he was invincible after he got away from that. He's like, "Oh, I can never be stopped now." Didn't he end up going back to jail for that crime though? Didn't they end up proving it?
No, it's too late. You can't.
No.
It's like double jeopardy.
Yeah.
Once you're innocent,
It's
once you're
done.
proven innocent, you could be like, yeah, I did it, and then they can't charge you for it.
But then you get you on something else though.
No, he. So what happened? What got OJ is that he wrote a book essentially saying,
admitting to it, right?
I didn't kill her, but if I would have, this is how I would have done it. He did this, and then Nicole's family went in and filed like some sort of fucking whatever legal thing, and they now I think take all the profit from this book that this guy fucking
that's what it was. Yeah.
So he lost a civil trial, right?
Okay.
So he essentially he had to pay the money. That's about it. So all the money he made out of the publicity of this shit, he had to pay to Nicole's family. So,
Wow.
But you know what that means? He still got away with murder.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Right.
Well, the glove don't fit. You must have quit. Glove don't fit. Must have quit.
Well, it's like
Surviving R. Kelly versus Leaving Neverland. The Michael Jackson thing?
I didn't watch it.
No?
I thought that was old already. Wasn't that came out a few years ago? Like a documentary about Michael Jackson?
This is like the third one.
There's a lot of those.
I was like, why is
Yeah.
this new? I thought this already came out already.
Because he's not alive anymore, so that money's not coming in anymore.
Family just
Yeah.
do another one.
Yeah, those
Eating a dead horse? Is that,
Yeah, no
is that
kidding.
a pun?
That was a whole weird thing too, though, about that whole Never Neverland thing that never really came out. They had a lot of evidence about weird shit that went on there, but they just never ever.
But a lot of the times, like when they went through that stuff, they're like, "Well, did the parents know? Did the parents not know?" Because the parents like. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, but
That's a-
You want to sleep with? Oh, so my child should sleep in your room, but I'm gonna go sleep over here. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, only the boys. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, it's fucking what are you guys singing around campfire, singing Kumbaya, like eating s'mores? Fuck
That
you,
is a
man.
weird fucking thing.
Yeah.
And
No.
the
Fuck
thing
that.
is,
The parents were like the parents knew. In my opinion, the parents knew they put themselves in a position where they could better themselves financially.
Yeah.
On the sake of their children, man, and that's kind of what that was.
Or maybe he was just a really nice guy.
Well, that's the thing.
Maybe,
That's
maybe.
what I feel like. Did he? You know, like Michael Jackson was a really weird dude, right?
He had a really bad childhood.
He had
too.
a
He did.
And the thing is, he had like, I mean, like musically, you know, genius, obviously, right? But mentally, he's got the mentality of like a 12-year-old
That's right.
kid. So that's why he built Neverland. He built, you know, all that shit because he wanted to have a childhood. So when he had like, when the kids were like sleeping in his room, there's no evidence of him like actually molesting them or, you know.
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
Right, you know, it's
I feel like Soup would have been convinced to sleep with Michael Jackson.
well, I mean, like,
okay.
if you think, you know, if you think about it, Michael Jackson's music, and you know, he's brought a lot of joy to a lot of kids in the world, right? So it's only fair that a couple kids,
a couple kids get sacrificed for the better good.
it's only fair that a couple kids bring him some joy. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Don't hate on it. It's a joke. It's a joke.
That was the Farrah Fawcett joke. That she died like a couple days before he did, right?
Did she?
Yeah. So Farrah Fawcett died, went up to heaven, and God asked her, since you've been such a role model, what is one thing I can do for you?
Mhm.
And she goes, please take care of all the children in the world. 2 days later, Michael Jackson was dead.
Yeah. But no, like maybe like you just like you said, like
He's just like you know, he's like
What are the odds you sleep with a child in the same
Forrest
bed
Gump,
for 30
right?
days without something
just like
happening, though?
his brain is
Some
not.
kids say they could tell
Was it?
markings on his dick to police.
Oh, really?
So these kids were tattletales. So could fucking clearly didn't hear snitches get stitches.
that. So what? Read that again. Sorry.
That apparently they slept in the same bed for about 30 days. And then some kids say that they could, like, they essentially identified markings on
like
this
birth,
guy's-
like birthmarks.
like,
or
yeah,
something
or
weird
just,
thing,
yeah,
like-
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's like then that's
Or
obviously
children's
that's all
teeth
fucked up.
marks,
Yeah.
some gnaw marks.
Well, then that's fucked up.
30 fucking days. Like, I would think like
Where's your parents?
after day
Where the
2,
fuck
I'd be
your
like,
parents?
hey, Mike, you know, you got a mansion here, bro.
Listen, man,
Can I get?
listen.
You got
Oh,
like
third wheel.
you got like
Yeah,
20
dude,
bedrooms in your
that-
mansion. You mind if I just?
Dude, that kid that lasted the 30 days, man, like I think that kid wanted it after a while, man. Like
Oh,
shit.
yeah. I don't know.
No.
You can't really go
No.
down that path.
But I mean, there's
No, did you hear that theory about the castrato theory with that kid too, like with Michael Jackson?
no.
Is it like wasn't there's the Home Alone kid?
Yeah,
Macaulay
that's what I was
Culkin.
gonna say.
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin and the fucking Stand By Me. What's his name? Corey Feldman.
Was he with Michael Jackson?
Yeah,
though?
he was like, that's his whole.
That's it. Where he
yeah, you
That's his
know,
home.
like, and they both were like, no, man, he was never inappropriate. He would never, you know, and Macaulay Culkin was like his BFF, right?
Yeah.
Right, you know, from.
That's just
the
always a
hormone phase,
weird,
yeah.
pretty weird fucking thing, though. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, your parents let you stay there, sure, I guess, for a day, maybe.
Mhm.
Like, to stay there for 30 days, and then, like, it's just a really weird, like, a grown man fucking having boys
Yeah.
stay in their bed. It's
But-
just fucked
but
up. It's not,
yeah,
obviously, it's a weird thing, anyways.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, is that like you're right. How much of that is childhood trauma, like not being able to have a childhood, right? Because that Michael Jackson never had a childhood,
No.
right? He was essentially made to perform
Like
his
8
entire
or
life.
something,
Yeah,
like
his
7.
Oh yeah,
entire life.
and his dad
And beaten-
was
and
like
beaten.
a brutal, like.
Yeah, and
He was brutal,
beaten
yeah.
and like physically, emotionally, and
Mhm.
psychologically abused, right?
Yeah.
So, no, but there's a theory that says that Michael Jackson was a castrato.
Mhm.
That the
What's that?
a castrato used to be a young boy, and they'd remove his testicles before hitting puberty, so his voice wouldn't change.
Huh.
So they would always have that like higher pitch. Yeah. So if you so everybody's like, because of the range that Michael Jackson had in his voice, there's no way that he could have gone through puberty because his voice would have been like really deep. But
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Like,
So, but
he's-
there's
that's,
like
that's a theory, I guess, but it's kind of
well, he's like
Corey Feldman changed his tune after watching Leaving Neverland. It's convenient to change your tune though after somebody's passed away and is unable to defend themselves.
In which regard? I'm sorry, I don't understand what they mean.
Corey Feldman was one of the supporters saying that Michael Jackson, like he spent time with Michael Jackson and nothing happened.
Right, and then afterwards he changed his mind.
He changed his mind.
And you know what? A lot of people
yeah.
came out after, not just after him, but like this after the Harvey Weinstein thing and all this stuff. And then people were kind of going after because people were scared. I think if that actually happened,
well,
like
agreed. But at the same time, it's convenient to change your story once somebody can no longer defend themselves.
But that's a pretty fucking weird way to go after someone defends themselves. Like your whole life you're like this way, and then you're like, "Oh, the guy made me do this."
But Corey Feldman hasn't been relevant.
Yeah,
and also
this is the most his name has been fucking mentioned in the last 3 months, right?
And also
like,
he's batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's
Feldman. Have you seen him lately? He's
fucking nuts.
Weird, man.
You see his groupies, the girls that fucking travel with him.
Yeah.
Well, he's like after all that trauma like that, you probably would be if that was real.
Well, who knows, right?
Nobody.
I think at the end of the day, you'll never really know. But I agree with you, Soup. Like I agree that he was very much damaged, and he was trying to relive his childhood through other children.
Yeah.
And you know what? Whatever. Maybe there's something that happened. Maybe I have no fucking clue. I can, nobody really knows except for him and the kids. But at the same time, no. But
I'm not happy.
But I'm sorry, but you can't even take that fucking serious because kids fucking bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a pony. No, you're not, motherfucker. You're a child. No, I'm a pony. Okay, you're a fucking pony. Fuck you. But no, you know what I mean? Like, so you'll never really know. But I agree, man. I think he suffered way too much trauma. Yeah. And always being in the spotlight and people always trying to leech, right? Like, he was one of those people, like, that he like I said, exactly. He built an entire amusement park in his backyard, essentially. He'd bring kids that were sick and stuff like that into this amusement park. Yeah. The cute ones would sleep in his room. The ugly ones would go on the amusement rides. Which is fucked. Yeah. But you know what I mean, though? Like, I feel like exactly it. Like, that's he just suffered some trauma.
I don't know. I guess you could look at it either way. Like, but I would rather look at it the way that he was just a really good guy. But if these are facts, I don't know if that's a fact or not that they've had kids that pointed those things out. No, that was always always the story that he did.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean? And like I said, once again, there's no reason to make it up either than to tarnish somebody's reputation. Yeah. Right. But I don't know, man. I want to I think the naive part of me wants to believe
he's just a nice guy.
Yeah, he was just he was misunderstood. He was
like fucking Willy Wonka.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Yeah, killed 3 kids and then saved 1.
Oompa Loompas got them.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of my opinion on that. I feel like he was just misunderstood. He was very creative and he was also like most creative people are very what's the word I'm looking for?
Eccentric,
thank you. And he was one of those guys, right? Like he was very eccentric and kind of weird and fucked up and that's what made him such a musical genius. But and
that's the funny thing is like being a musical genius, you tend to be a little bit, you have to be a little bit like odd and weird, right? Like that. But let me ask you this. If you were a kid and like Michael Jackson invited you to Never Neverland, would you go?
Fucking rights, I would.
You'd be riding all those rides?
I'd suck that dick like a champ.
Can I go on the Ferris wheel? Suck your dick.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be trying to, man. Like I said, I'd be fucking dropping shit and trying to pick it up in front of him.
That's what you do now, fuck. As a kid, you would be fucking, you'd be like, oh, Michael, where you at?
Yeah, I know.
Whatever happened, is that thing still open? Do they have
No, I don't think so. Because it was... Michael Jackson died pretty much like he didn't have that much money. He was broke, man.
Then he sold all his shit. Oh, he ended up buying the Beatles.
He ended up buying the Beatles.
The Beatles bought him back though. In the end,
I think so.
Paul McCartney ended up buying it all back. I think, or all his songs back, anyways.
Yeah, but no. The reason, like, he was going on tour to pay off some of the fucking debt that he had because he was like losing some serious money.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
How like people that make that much money can be.
How can you go broke when you're making, like, when your net worth is like $5 billion?
Yeah. I know I could do it. Like if I could figure a way to do it, but I'm like, I think it would be pretty hard.
I mean, I can go broke in the next 30 minutes. You want to watch?
Yeah. Hey, here's my 20s.
$20 is $20.
That's why we say that.
But no, exactly. No, it
happens lots.
It does.
It happens lots to a lot of like really wealthy people.
Mike Tyson was broke.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, at one point, Mike Tyson.
That guy should be broke. See, you bought a fucking tiger, dude.
Motherfucker bought a tiger. Yeah. No, but like at one point, Mike Tyson was in this fake boxing ring at the MGM Grand, just sitting there going like this. Yeah, exactly. They paid him money just to be like a fucking centerpiece. Man, I'm like, holy fuck. Like,
That's how broke he was?
Yeah, like,
I'll do anything.
How the mighty have fallen. Holy shit.
That's unbelievable.
No, but the thing with Mike Tyson is he like, you go to, let's say you go to a party at Mike Tyson's place. His party giveaways would be like keys to a Mercedes Benz. He would give everybody. You would leave. You'd go there and then you'd leave with a fucking car. You know what I mean? And if you bought shoes, he bought every color of every shoe. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's the only like things like that would have to like. He wasn't that like he's an intelligent dude, but he's also one of those guys that like common sense life things was not really his thing.
Well,
right?
he was doing a lot of drugs after when he was like,
yeah, for sure.
Well, he had a really traumatic young life.
Oh, absolutely.
Too.
He was like he got raised like a soldier, man. He got brainwashed.
Yeah,
and everything else.
He experienced like he was like molested by one of his uncles.
Wasn't he like adopted by his trainer or something?
What's his name? Shit, I forget his name. DeMarco?
Yeah.
What's his name? What was his name? Do you remember?
Fuck. But it was just like when he died, that's when shit went downhill.
Yeah, that's right.
That was his father figure. He
Yeah.
took him in, brought him, like, he lived with him. He became his father, you know. And then after, when his coach died, everybody was circling like sharks around him and
just
taking
trying to
him, and
contain it, right?
Don King and fucking everybody was just taking advantage of him. And
But he's
you know,
he was a monster. Like,
well, that's the thing. They wanted him to be a monster.
They made him
and
that
then
way.
when he went crazy and became a monster, right?
You can't contain that.
Yeah, right. You know, like
fucking scary.
how you bite somebody's fucking ear off like, live on TV, right? You know,
That is a crazy fucking idea, right? Like you're boxing on live TV, and this is how much you like you want to win, and you do anything to win. You bite this guy's ear off. Like,
oh yeah, and like when he went to jail and he came out, he was like not the same anymore. He didn't have, you know, he even said, like, he was just recently on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said, I just didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want to be that guy anymore, and I didn't like it anymore. I didn't.
Customato.
Customato.
That's the guy who took him under his wing and made him a champion.
Yeah.
And then when Cos died, then that's when shit went south.
Because he got circled by people who just wanted to take advantage of him, and you know.
And Cus also, like, they groomed him to be a champion, so they brought him up slowly. They didn't throw him into fights that they knew were going to be detrimental to his career. They did things properly with him. He helped him manage money. I think he lived with him.
Yeah, he lived with him. Yeah, he took him into his. He treated him like he was his son.
Yeah. So then after when that happened, he snapped, and that's when all this shit went south. Starts partying.
Yeah,
he was
party. That's crazy.
No, he was talking about getting pulled over. He got pulled over for speeding in this car, and the cops like, "Oh shit, it's Mike Tyson. Just go." He had like I think a kilo of cocaine in the fucking trunk.
What?
Yeah. He had like a kilo of coke in the trunk, and the cop never even searched it. The guy didn't have a driver's license. He's just like, "We get the fuck out of here!" Like,
fucking Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Tyson.
Exactly.
Well,
there's a picture of him, and he's got like fucking like just all this blow all over his face. Yeah, man. Even wild. Or even Steve-O. He told a story about going on a coke binge with Mike Tyson one night. Yeah, man.
Crazy. That'd be a crazy thing. Yeah, I don't know. That guy is.
He's pulled himself together now. He's like he's got like a weed company now.
He started like some kind of ranch. I think it's in Colorado or not Colorado, in California somewhere. That it's gonna like host these huge events. Yeah, like it's gonna be like a big.
He's got a podcast too. It's called Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's got a podcast. Hilarious.
Yeah, Dutch oven with Mike Tyson.
Just rolling doobies.
But yeah, I know.
But that's crazy how like people go broke like that. Like that's guy made over $100 million. How many? Like
a lot of that money got stolen from Don King though. Eh? Don King stole.
Oh, Don King. Don King.
He signed such a shitty deal. It was like 90-10. Like that's how bad it was, man. Like
He's like, just put me in the ring. I want to fight.
Yeah, and Don King's like, but I'll pay you for your food. He's like, here's a can of Spam and some rice, buddy. like it was really bad.
Well, that's the thing. Like once you have a standard of living, right? You got like 4 or 5 mansions. You got like blah blah blah, right? And then you're kind of like on the downfall of now you got to maintain, you know, because the tax man are coming, right? You got to pay, right? Now you got to do whatever.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah, Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes almost went to jail for fucking tax evasion.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how that shit happened.
He was gonna fight Joe Rogan. They were supposed to fight.
Who?
They were gonna
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
What?
Yeah, they were gonna have an MMA match. Yeah.
Blade?
They were gonna have an MMA match, and then Wesley Snipes realized that Joe Rogan's a fucking monster.
He is a fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
when
a
you watch
beast.
his
That guy
fucking videos,
that guy trains every day.
like to see his like
His
he
kick?
teaches like a lot of the UFC guys how to kick properly.
Mhm.
Like, his kick is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like he like bends those like the hard kick bags, not like
He has the record on. You see those UFC the UFC thing, the UFC machine.
No, I've seen
So
that
it's those punch machines.
Yep.
It's like that, but you kick it. Joe Rogan's got the world record for the hardest kick on a UFC machine.
one. That guy's a monster. No, I've seen that guy kick.
Yeah.
I didn't get hit by one of those things. Oh. That hurt a lot. That hurt.
Yeah, I
That
feel
hurt
like
a
it.
lot. Probably hurt.
I feel like you lose control of your bowels for a moment.
Just shit.
Just
everywhere.
shit yourself, like Steven Seagal. Just shit yourself.
Right? He got he was like he bet one of the Gracies, right? Was it one of the Gracies that he can't get knocked out,
Yeah, he said
right?
that.
And then he put him in a chokehold and he shit his pants.
Yeah, there was like those guys that do that chi fighting.
Oh, the
Tai
no
Chi?
no
Tai
touch,
Chi?
no
they
touch,
do no
defense.
touch.
Like the Tai Chi.
No,
where they
yeah.
go.
So they sit there and they're like
Yeah.
make this force field, and every one of them gets punched in the
Just
face.
like,
Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. How much? I know you have to take off early. How
Yeah.
much time do you have?
About 2 more minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go have a piss quick before
Yeah.
I leave. If
Yeah.
you get,
Yeah. No problem.
I said that right on the podcast.
2 more minutes.
Sorry,
You still
everybody.
got like another half hour.
No, I want to get there a little bit earlier too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna take me a while to get there. But yeah, I don't want to show up like after 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those who are wondering, I have to go work tonight, so I'm gonna be leaving here in about 2-3 minutes or so, and then yeah, go do my thing, and then hopefully not punch cups out of people's hands today.
For those you don't know, he's moonlights as a prostitute.
I don't want to punch cocks out of people's hands tonight.
But yeah, that's pretty funny. People go broke. Like you look at Vanilla Ice, right?
Yeah,
He had, he was balling.
he at least managed to like salvage it though, right? Like he managed like to bounce back at the last minute. He luckily he invested some money. You see what one of the biggest things that like took his money away
What?
was that stupid riff from Ice Ice Baby.
Oh yeah.
He was fighting David Bowie for it.
No, it was the Queen, right?
There's David Bowie and shit. Was it?
It was Queen because it was Under Pressure. And then,
Yeah.
That's the fucking.
Yeah, it was
Before Under
that was
Pressure,
that
right?
was David Bowie and
Yeah.
and I want to say Mick Jagger.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, I think it was one of the two. Anyways, so he's like, there's a video of him arguing. He's like,
Yeah.
no, see, it sounds different. They go, their beat goes dun 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 dun, and mine beat goes dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's literally the exact same song.
Yeah.
So you know how he ended up getting out of it?
How?
He ended up buying the rights for fucking
Oh, really?
Under Pressure. It's the only way he could skate from fucking losing all his
Wow.
money. Yeah, because that was the #1 hit, right?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, nobody really watched the second Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
movie.
You know what's funny? He told a story. He was this is the peak of his career. He's at he's having a hotel party, right? A bunch of people there, whatever, models and everything. He's partying. He hears a knock on the door, opens it up. 3 huge guys that are standing there. You know who it is? Suge Knight. He walks in. Suge Knight walks in, right? And then takes him, brings him to the balcony, right? And goes, listen, hey, you're going to sign this contract, right? And he and like muscled him. And he's like, so then he's like, did you sign the contract? He's like, of course I did. He's like,
Yeah.
these 4 huge guys, they were going to throw me off the balcony if I didn't sign that contract.
They were-
Yeah, he got muscled by Suge Knight.
they were going to give him AIDS like they did Eazy-E. You hear that conspiracy?
Mhm.
That Suge Knight
Suge Knight, yeah.
gave Eazy AIDS.
Check.
Okay, you back? You want to sit?
Backstreet's
You want
back.
to sit in this
All right.
in this middle mic here or what?
Yeah, we'll probably just do a quick switch, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Okay, guys, I'm taking off. These guys will keep going, and thank you for sticking around when I'm here. I guess.
Keep it serious.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't Michael Jackson yourself.
Never, never.
Never, never. Okay, guys. See you next week.
Later, bruh. Well, thanks for sticking in. Thanks for watching us, guys. Appreciate. Oh.
This is tight.
This guy's gonna.
Sorry about that.
He's gonna trash the
Hello,
stream
check.
right now.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Good. Yeah. Sorry about this.
Let's make a quick change, guys. Make a quick change. Did you hear about the Laura Loughlin? You know who that is?
Sarah McLachlan?
Laura Loughlin.
Okay, maybe talk about it because I don't know.
You know who that is?
No. I don't know the name.
She plays Aunt Becky on Full House. Is it Aunt Becky? Yeah, on Full House.
I know who that is. I don't know the name.
There's a scandal right now that that they paid this guy to get her kids into like a prestigious university. Yeah, like she paid like $500,000 to get him. So what the guy does is he fakes sports photos of them like playing sports, and then pays like the coaches and stuff to like so that they can get
into these elite schools.
Yeah,
like
in elite
Harvard,
school. Yeah, like UCLA, Harvard, Yale, right?
You know, that's been going on for a long
time.
Oh,
of course. Oh, yeah. But now it's coming to light. And it's like, it's funny because they would go do like the tests to get into the university, right? And the guy would pay somebody smarter to go and take the test for them, right?
It's the world. Take care, man. Hey?
That's when I come see you tomorrow.
Oh, right on. I'll see you later. Yeah, no, it's a weird time we're living in right now, you know? Like, all this stuff is kind of coming out, which is good. It's really good.
No, but there's like, it's like 50-something people that are getting outed on that. And the crazy thing is that because it's like, because they got in and like even her daughter, she has a YouTube channel, pretty popular YouTube channel. It's got about like 3 million viewers, right?
So
and
it's about the same as ours.
Yeah, and then she's even on YouTube, she's like, I don't really care about school, but I still want to like party and go do this and that, like you know, like that kind of stuff. And then it's funny because the crazy thing is like she went on like The View or some show, and she was like, oh, I'm so proud my daughter got into like UCLA, and I'm like, she's like crying and everything. And then meanwhile she like paid to get her in there.
Do you know how they got outed? Like how they figured out?
I can't remember how they got outed. I think somebody just ratted them out. Like,
just got tired of it.
Yeah. Well, because the guy that's like that they hired to do that, he's facing so many charges of like fraud and blah 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 and whatever. And so it's pretty funny. Like they like staged photos of like some of them like playing like water polo. Oh yeah.
And it grabs. Yeah, it's pretty messed up because that actually is pretty detrimental to society as well if they're doing that, because there's a lot of really intelligent people that
there's people that they took spots of people that actually like worked hard and they didn't get in there. But speaking of that, is like there's a class action lawsuit right now with a lot of people who their kids didn't get in those schools, so they made a class action lawsuit. Do you know how much they're suing for? They're suing everybody. They're suing the school. They're suing everybody. There's like 50 people on that list, all celebrities and all like really rich people. You know how much they're suing for?
What?
Guess how much they're suing for?
Fuck, it's gotta be a lot.
Yeah, guess.
Over 100 million?
Way over 100 million. Way over 100 million.
Billion?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. $300 billion.
$300 billion?
$300 billion, man. Because they're like, my kid worked so hard, right? And they didn't get into that school because your kid got into that school. So that fucked with their career, and they are making they're making $300 billion. They're suing for.
That's gonna crush the whole thing. But whatever, that's what happens. It's not fair, right? Like there's a lot of people, and to be honest, I think there's a lot of things on some of the Asian community too, because it was basically there was a lot of Asian students that they basically said no to.
Yeah, because their scores were too high.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. They wanted to have more diversity in Harvard. That's the other controversy is they want to have more diversity in Harvard, so they denied Asian students that like had high scores because they wanted to have more diversity in their schools, and that's not fair. That's like racism, right? It's like,
that's racism,
you know,
exactly.
whoever you know
works the hardest,
qualifies should be in the school, but they didn't, you know. So
that is insane. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I wonder if they'll ever win that case. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
They might. I mean,
they'll win something for sure. Hopefully they can get some money for it. Yeah, what's going on here? 217 people are watching you guys. Perfect. That's awesome.
Really?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But yeah, no, that's
got a good night dad on there.
Oh, good night, my bub, my love.
Want to sing a song?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But yeah, she got dropped from Fuller House.
Oh, they kicked her off?
Yeah, they kicked her off.
There's a lot of that shit going on. Yeah. They just like the world, like it's gotten to a point where like it's so sensitive for everything you say. Like you almost can't really even say anything anymore because like you're scared. Especially these high profile people. Like,
because you'll lose
everything.
You'll lose. It's like, what was I talking about? Earlier I was telling my wife with Johnny Depp, right? The case with Johnny Depp.
I hear.
Did you hear about his wife was saying that he was abusive, right? That he was like beating her and stuff, and he released video of him like freaking out and being angry and like basically like having a tantrum. And then she had photos. She was saying that he was like hitting her and shit, and then he had photos of she had photos with like bruises and shit, right? And then turns out that it wasn't him. It's the other way around. She was abusing him. she because they investigated it, right? Yeah. And through this time, he was getting so much hate on Twitter, I
remember seeing that was almost a year ago. Or something now,
and he lost like movie roles. Like they kicked him off of Pirates of the Caribbean and shit like that, right? And then he actually released. They have like security cameras in the home, so he released photos, and it turns out that she was the one abusing him. Yeah, and then the bruises and stuff that she had was makeup. She was faking it.
That's fucking scary shit, right?
Yeah.
I guess when you're a high profile person, like that's even more. It's scary either way, but that gets really scary when like something like a girl. It doesn't work in the
They can
reverse.
just accuse you. Yeah.
It doesn't work. I can't really be like, my wife's beating me.
Yeah.
Well,
really work. It's a double standard, right? Like men, men can. You know, like it's looked down upon, like, oh, you're not a man if you're, you're getting abused or whatever, right? Like she was like, there was one like that video that she released of him being mad. I can't remember, it was his mother or his dad had just died, so he was grieving. So he was like,
it's a little bit messed up.
Yeah. But she released that as like he was
like the night when they
to
were
her,
drinking, like,
and then she threw a bottle at him. And then it cut up. Yeah, and it severed his finger. He had to actually get his finger reconnected.
Like sewed up.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. There's a lot of that happening now. You know, I don't know if it's just that time where now things are getting outed more. Maybe because the social media era is here and people are starting using it more, so everyone's hearing a lot more about this stuff. But it's like it's starting to bring all these like super rich or super famous or elite people like kind of like down to earth a little bit. Like everyone's seeing like, oh, this is.
Oh yeah, now it's like, well, that's the thing is like, people are getting outed for stuff, right? But at the same time, it's sort of like going where now you'll be able to prove them wrong. You know what I mean? Like it's like the whole like the Covington MAGA hat kid, right? Yeah. Where the indigenous guys like playing the fucking thing, and then they made it seem like he was there mocking them and blah blah blah. But then when you actually watch the real video, it's him going to the kid. He's just standing there waiting for his bus, right? And he was the one that was like
more provoking it.
Yeah, he was the one like getting in his face, playing the fucking drums in his face, right? And the kid was the one that was trying to like keep the peace, right? You know, and he was just like, everybody was like, oh, and they like all the social justice warriors, all these celebrities jumped on the bandwagon, like all these news outlets were like, you know, and then they were like calling for those kids to like, oh, one guy was like, if you see these kids, punch them in the face.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, they were like calling for them to get fucking, you know, and this is like a high school kid, you know.
That's
yeah,
and then it wasn't even the truth.
It wasn't the truth. And when the video came out, it was very evident that
it was not even the case.
It wasn't even the case. Yeah,
it wasn't close, and that's happening a lot. And that's the funny thing about the one really good thing. This is, I was telling my wife this too, like. When Donald Trump in that whole election, not to go into politics, but this is just a thing that it's along the storyline, is like when he was going through that and he actually won, the one thing that I said that will be a beneficial thing that he can bring is he's going to bring the no bullshit thing.
Yeah.
So whether or not, I don't agree a lot of his politics, I don't agree with a lot of things, but one thing he is really good at is that he made people open their eyes to media and like not believe everything you see and ask the question sometimes, where before, like 8 years ago, if I was watching the news, like I was like, wow.
Well, that's how, like before,
up,
like before it was like whatever you read or you saw, you automatically believed because you thought it was true, right?
You're like, oh, this has got to be real.
Yeah.
You didn't even think they had any influence, which is so naive. Now when I look back, I'm like, well, why wouldn't they like try to hype it up? Why wouldn't they like milk it and twist it to this? Like, they have like out of like 10 things, they have like maybe half a point that's actually true. And the rest is just spun like crazy, right? Like that's a scary thing. Like how much things they got away with, like way back.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, that's the narrative. It's like they because the news outlets and the social media, they're all run by specific people, you know, and
like
they have a specific agenda that they want to push. It's like Twitter, you know, they'll censor like conservative people.
Yeah, they wouldn't admit that.
Yeah, you know, they'll censor conservative people, but they'll let left people just say whatever the fuck they want, you know, and that's a big influence.
It really seems that way.
That's a big influence in like when it comes to like election time or
politics,
you know.
And well, that's what happens too. A lot of these big corporations and it's these huge monopolies that can really dictate like what really happens for people, right? And people don't understand it. Like they push their agenda on the people, and they push people to believe a certain thing, so that they'll come voting time, they'll vote a certain way because they'll get a benefit from that president or that person or that party. So they'll be like, okay, no tax for you because you did this. Yeah, it's pretty scary, right?
Well, it's like there was a thing where it's like it's important, like the build the wall thing, right? It's like it's important that we protect our borders and we need to keep it safe from the American people and blah, 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 you know, and then, but when Trump says it's racist and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, when Obama said it wasn't racist. He said the exact same thing. Right?
They all did. They have like a YouTube you could watch. They all said it the exact same words.
Yeah, the exact same thing. But just because Trump said it, now it's racist, right?
Yeah, it's like the worst thing ever. And I don't even think that he's gonna like. It's gonna be tough to follow through with that. That was one of the things he said he was gonna do, and he's gonna try to do it, I imagine. But that's a tough one to follow through with too. But I don't know. But the whole media thing is crazy how they twist it, like going even from the celebrities to.
Oh yeah, well it was like, they showed there was a thing where they showed pictures of these kids in these detention centers, like like these thing, right? And then they're all like, oh, Trump's keeping kids like it's like
separate from their
families and then it turns out those pictures were from when Obama was the president, right?
It was totally different administration. Yeah, they're old photos. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now, and the good thing is I don't know about a lot of people, but more people than like 10 years ago actually are catching on to that stuff now.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. I feel like there's too much divide. People always feel like you have to be one way or the other. You can't be in between, like
you got to be part of this or
this. Like at first I considered myself a left-leaning guy, which means like I want peace in the world and blah blah blah, right? Yeah. But then after a while it's like you can't have peace without having
order.
Oh yeah, right? Kind of like order, yeah, and I mean, but then after it's like, why we can have order without being cruel or without being,
Yeah, no, that you got to have that happy medium, right? Like,
but that's the thing, people don't want. It's like a tribal culture. Like if you believe this way, then you're on our team. If you don't believe
really allowed to think that way.
Yeah, you can't think the other way if you're,
which is the most craziest way. Like, and Joe, even on his podcast, I watch a lot of his podcast. He talks about that all the time. He's like, people have that tribal effect, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You want to be part of this group.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, like, people just, it's like your instinct. Like, you want to be part of this, want to be part of that. You categorize all these things, and it's like, it shouldn't be that way. It should just be people living.
Well, I mean, I think people need to evaluate the truth, the evidence, and what is real. Like, what is real, what is not real. You know, like it's very, like, you look at CNN, when they report news about Trump, it's always like Trump bashing. They just want like to bash him. They never like throw like facts or evidence, you know. And then it's like
that. But I think they are going to their clientele, their customers that like that kind of thing, right? And that's their moneymaker. The thing is, though, like, the scary thing is that people that watch that, in my opinion, probably don't ever look around for if that's actually true or not.
Yeah, they don't look at the facts. They don't do the research, right? They just say, like, oh, Trump's, you know, like, they'll do a news report like, oh, Trump's calling Mexicans rapists and murderers and, you know, and drug dealers and stuff like that. They're selective of what they report, you know. Racist. You know. But when you look at it, the whole speech, he's talking about MS-13, you know, like one of the most dangerous gangs on the planet. Like, yeah, they're all murderers and rapists and drug dealers. Yeah, he's not talking about Mexican people.
No,
you know.
No, and that's the thing too. Is always a misconception is that, like, he's a racist because he wants to have the border, he wants to have a secured country and stuff like that. I don't believe that's racist. Like, he's not saying like he doesn't like certain people. He just wants legal immigration. Yeah. Everyone misses that. Yeah. Like, a lot of people that don't follow it, like, he's just a racist. But he's not racist. He just wants legal immigration. Come in properly. Everyone's welcome, but just come in properly.
What's the thing? He's only racist now that he's the president.
Yeah.
Prior to that, he wasn't racist. You know, like before he was the president, he was every rapper. They rapped songs about him, how he'd be rich like Trump. Yeah. Blah blah blah. He was friends with a lot of rappers and blah blah blah. You know, but now he's the president. Suddenly he's racist. You know.
Yeah, it's got to have everyone has a different agenda, right? It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. It's definitely it's weird. It's almost like disheartening. Like, I feel like there's like extreme left, extreme right, you know, but the middle, there's more majority of people are in the middle, you know.
Think, really?
Yeah, I think more people are like, everybody wants peace, everybody wants, you know, everybody wants this or that, but you're there, like you're saying earlier, people are afraid to say something because now you're gonna be, if I say something, you know, about like this Muslims or transgender or whatever, I'm right instantly I'm a homophobe or I'm a you know, like a Islamophobe or you know, instantly, right? And it's like, well, you know, I don't want any harm done to anybody, you know.
And I think majority, like I like to believe that like a high percentage of people, like our population, are the same way we think. Like I don't consider myself like some special like thinker. I mean, I love everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, if you want to sleep with men, give her.
Yeah. Like I don't care. I don't give a shit if you're gay. I don't care if you want to live as a woman. You want me to call you a woman? Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Whatever the hell you want me to call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's just it's almost like these titles or these like boxes. Like it's almost to create more drama between people for some reason. Like make it hard. It makes it harder for people to live. Yeah. Well, you can't say that. Well, I think we all know, like, we're not, like...
Well, everybody's so sensitive, and everybody can't you know, like, you can't, like... That's my problem is, if you want to be equal, you got to be willing to be ridiculed or made fun of. You know what I mean?
I agree with
that. Right? You know, you can't be like, oh, you can't make fun of gays. You can't make a transgender people. Like, no. If you want to be equal to everybody... You have to be willing to take a joke. You got to be willing, you know. That's why, like, with celebrities, they can't see, you know. Like, Kevin Hart, he lost hosting the Oscars because he made gay jokes 10 fucking years ago, right? You know, like, come on. Like, now you're putting yourself on a pedestal where you got to be above everybody else, where nobody can make fun of you, and it can't be, you know. That's why you look at Netflix specials nowadays. They suck, man. They're not even funny. Me and my wife, we watched like probably like 6 or 7 of them, and then I just turned halfway through. It's like, fuck, this is boring because nobody, you know,
you can't even say anything anymore.
Yeah, you can't say anything because somebody's going to be offended. Somebody's going to say something.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of comedians are like complaining about now too. Is like they're taking away like their art. You know?
Yeah.
Like they can't even, like, people can't
You're
even
watering it
understand
down. Yeah.
they can't understand it's a joke.
Yeah.
But that, I think that's the craziest thing, though. Like, that we live to please the super small percentage of the world.
Super small percentage.
Like, it's
yeah.
like 3% of the
Yeah.
Like, let's say, I don't know anybody that's like actually. Like, I hate it. Like, everyone I know doesn't care.
Yeah.
I don't know one person. I'm sure there definitely is probably other people.
Oh yeah, and there's totally homophobic people. There's totally Islamophobic people. But that's like that's such a small percentage of people that are like straight up, you know, want them dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's such a small thing. And to focus in on that is almost the bigger problem. Like to say like you can't do this, you can't do that. It's almost like it's like a win for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think. Everyone's supposed to be treated like a human being and proper, right? Like, I don't think anyone's like, I have friends that are gay, and like we always joke around.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like.
Yeah, like we don't judge Vic.
Yeah,
well,
that's what
you know,
was. We never judge Vic. I didn't want to say it.
You know,
here, but like, yeah, but Vic, like, he's okay with the gay jokes and stuff.
That's what I mean. Like, and they were too apologetic about it. And in my opinion, it's like, you know, like, make Asian jokes. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. You know, I think some of them, I think they're fucking funny. You know, like there was the one meme where it's like the Asian bird box, right? And the guy had like dental floss around his eye. I thought that was hilarious, right? You know,
it's funny stuff,
right? Yeah.
I think it's you have to be
you
able to
can't
laugh
be
with some of
you
that.
can't be immune to. And I think
different. We're like, we have different races. Different
well, that's the thing. I
cultures.
think a lot of gay people feel the same way. They're not offended. It's just this small group of people that
ruin it.
They're on this like moral high ground. They think that they got a champion for everybody else, you know. And it's like there was like that one where the girl wore like a Chinese outfit to her graduation, right? And you're cultural appropriation, blah blah blah.
That's so
and I'm like, that's such bullshit. Like, who the fuck is saying that? Who's even like
who
Asians do not, you know, they're actually like, in my culture, we're actually like, what's the word?
Like welcoming on that?
Yeah, like we're like what's the word when you're like, that's cool, you know, like you're like appreciative of like you're trying to learn, you know, you're doing our culture. Like, we don't care that if you're wearing our traditional gab, you know what I mean? It's actually a cool thing. It's cool to see like a Caucasian person wearing our traditional stuff and stuff, you know what I mean?
That would be like, and that's the craziest thing ever, is that like, who's this fucking dick that's like, like, that complains about it and be like, you can't be doing that. Like,
yeah, who the fuck is telling you?
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Like,
why are you saying, you know, that's not right, or blah blah blah, you know?
And that is, I think, the problem a lot of times too. There's always somebody, whether or not they believe it or not, if it's the problem, they just want to be that.
They just want to be
that one dick. They
sit on their computer and they're like, look for things to be offended by, and, you know,
just get in on that. Like, oh yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's a crazy thing. Like, we should be able to do whatever the hell we want.
I think if you're not hurting anybody, and you're not being malicious, and you're not being hateful, you know, it's okay. Like, let's be. If you can't laugh, you know, it's like the cliche. If you can't laugh at yourself, you know, then
that's an important thing. Like, and I think a high percentage of people, they're never doing anything malicious. They're not doing anything. Everyone appreciates everyone else's culture. I think it's great. I think that everyone should be able to wear like the Asian, the Chinese, like the dresses, or Japanese kimono, or whatever it is. Like, enjoy it. Like, that's something.
What was that the one guy who was on YouTube? I forget what his YouTube is, but he wore like a Mexican. Like, he wore like a poncho. He had a mustache, and he had like marachas, right? And then he was like, at university, he was like, is this offensive, right? And the students were like, oh yeah, it's super offensive, blah blah blah, right? And they were like, oh, you should take it off. That's really like, you're being really like racist and blah blah blah. And then he went to like a Mexican like a market, right? A Mexican market. Yeah. And he was asking the Mexican, like, do you think this is offensive? And they were like, no, I think
it's hilarious.
They were like, oh, that's so funny. Like, I love your mustache. I love your poncho. And like, you know, like, we think it's funny. Like, they were not, and these are like older Mexican, like, you know, and they were like, they thought it was awesome. They thought it was funny, you know? And that's the thing. It's just like, we're in this like outrage culture where there's this, you got to walk on eggshells everywhere. And I don't know when that started. When did that happen? You know, like
it's a very recent thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like, it was in the last
couple of years.
Yeah. Because we keep feeding into that, right? Like,
like tiptoeing around these issues is not going to fix it. You know, I mean, you're not fixing it by making these like so many different titles and so many different identities and so many different boxes, right?
Well, all this protection, like everybody's like there's groups that are protected from, you know, ridicule or being made fun of. You're not, you know, it's not like, it's not helping them.
No.
You know what I mean? Like let's get to the real world. Once you get to the real world, you know, there's nobody gives a shit about hurting your feelings. You know what I mean? Like
no, and I think these kind of things, there's a lot to learn from so many different like cultures and so many different people that will toughen you up too, like things that people have been through or these stories. And if you're not allowed to joke around with another culture and make jokes and they can bug you about your things over that.
Yeah.
Like that builds a rapport that brings you up to when you're older. It gets you ready for regular life stuff. And
like it's that's part of the camaraderie, is you being able to poke fun at each other, right? And then that's where you connect, is from, like, it's okay for you to make fun of me about, like, you know, I'm Asian, or like, you know, like eating dogs, or you know what I mean, or having, you know, slanty eyes or whatever. That doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? So half the time I think it's funny, like, but that's the rapport that we have, whereas we can bust each other's balls without being butthurt about it.
Butthurt. Like that's a funny thing too, is that the big thing now is a lot of like the white man, right? That's a big thing. So like it's almost like the white people or the white man is almost like, or woman, whatever, but they're going after the white male or whatever. It's like you gotta be like super careful of whatever the fuck you say. Like that's crazy. Like I don't know, with my friends and stuff like that, I don't have that issue. I gotta say whatever I want.
I really need to use the bathroom.
Okay, so I gotta sit here by myself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm by myself now for a little bit. We got a lot of viewers too. A lot of viewers. No, we got only two. So everyone left me by myself. If anyone's out there, just message in. You know, maybe we can have a quick conversation. See what's going on. Just touching base on how sensitive, like North America or the States and the world, I guess, essentially, how sensitive it's become with different topics and, you know, things you can or can't say, and it's become a very sensitive topic. And hold on a sec, I see someone here. Kathy says, I believe these people were bullied as kids, and now they're trying to like pay back everyone else. Well, yeah, I guess that would be kind of it, but like, I don't know, like, I guess that would make it that, like, that small percentage of people that they're just trying to get back at people, and a lot of people using social media because it's a pretty free, it's a pretty open place to do it, and you don't have to have any, you know, you don't have to face say it to somebody. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. A lot of bullies, a lot of things like that. It's kind of crazy though, and it sucks because you shouldn't have that small percentage of people dictating like how the rest of us live our lives, and you got to be so careful. Like in Canada, like I don't know, everyone I know it's a multicultural country. Like everybody is different, and I don't know anybody that looks at someone and be like, oh man, I don't like those people. It's not even a thing that exists here for me. Yeah, like Kevin, how Kevin says it too. Yeah, it's almost like they use these titles to restrict and almost like control different conversations between individuals. Yeah, I believe that for sure. Like, I don't know, that's how I feel. I don't know if that's exactly it or not, but I totally feel that way. Like, I feel that it is something that it totally, whether or not they did it for that reason, it is doing that for sure. It is definitely making conversations and like being able to talk to people a lot more difficult, because like you're always worried, like you don't want to say the wrong thing, which is an insane way to live, right? Like I think that having an open board, an open way to talk is probably giving everyone a platform equally to talk about it and let people figure out the way, you know, who, like for those people that are racist, if you block them out and just get rid of them, they'll find a different avenue to like make fun of people or to bully people or to be racist. If you just have an open thing, people will eventually figure out that this guy's a racist bastard. That's not the majority of people. This guy's just an idiot. Like, and then people will eventually just, get rid of that person. And that's I think is the key. Not censoring and not making all these different ways to things you cannot say and can't say. I think that's crazy. There's a couple of people talking. They're saying that, like Kevin says, that these titles are used to restrict open conversation between individuals. A lot of these titles that we use and like things you can and can't say, it almost seems that way. Like they do restrict us.
Well, that's because like they no longer want to have dialogue. They don't want to have they just want to shut you down. They just want to ruin your career, right? Like so many people, things they said 10 years ago are brought back up, and then half of these people are not even a part of that like there's a few for example, there's a few video games, right?
Yeah.
Where they're saying, it's this video game is sexist, blah 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 blah, and then they don't even buy video games, you know what I mean? And then they're not even the ones that buy it or do any. Like, it's a game called Battlefield 5. It's a World War II game, right? Okay. It's supposed to be like realistic World War II fighter, and then all these people complained, right? And then they added like women in World War II, which is like, women didn't fight in the front lines in World War II, like that's not like it's supposed to be like a World War II simulation. There was like a do
you think there's actually women mad? There must be women out there mad about it, but it can't be that big of a thing. I don't know any women. Like, my wife wouldn't be like, why the fuck is there not women in the front line of that war?
Because they weren't just there. Back in those days, it was just men that fought in the front lines, but women did other things. They worked in the factories. They built like
they held it. They held shit down. The bigger stuff,
or they were like medics and stuff like that. But they weren't like in the front lines with like, there was one where it was like in the British Army, in the game, they had an Asian sniper woman. Like, what? That's not even. How is that even?
Yeah, it is. It's just gotten to a point where, this is my opinion, I'm sure you agree with it. I think it's just gone to a point where it's just kind of silly. I don't know. Like, I think it's a really silly situation that's happened there. Like, there can't be that many people complaining about this stuff. It's
just one select small group of people.
But why do they listen to that one?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Like even like business wise, like you never like you never really cater to the small person. You want to please the majority.
Yeah.
But like it's a really, maybe, I don't know, it's a really weird thing that like we got to this point where it's like, no, we got to change everything because we have one person that's like, no.
It's like
the guy doesn't even play fucking games.
Yeah, like it's a culture, or it's like the new Captain Marvel movie, right?
Oh yeah, I heard
right.
about
this. And she was like, she said some things like Brie Larson is the star, right? Yeah. And she said some things like, she was like, I don't want so many middle-aged white men interviewing me. This is not a movie for men and blah blah blah. And a lot of people took offense to that, like, and then they were saying, and then it got like, the reviews were like very mediocre. Like it was like a 50%, 60% in reviews, right? And then they were saying that, it's because of these like chauvinistic men. They're like making bad reviews on purpose and blah blah, because it's a woman superhero, and women can't have this like superhero, and it's a totally sexist thing and blah blah blah. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? Because it's like, what, you don't think there's been strong women characters in movies? You know what I mean? Yeah, lots. Like, you go like Terminator, or Aliens, or even let's even go like Wonder Woman, for example.
Yeah, that's a fucking old one.
Yeah, that was like, and that movie made lots of money, and nobody complained that it was a woman or blah blah blah.
It's a bunch of bullshit, right? It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. And it's scary. The fact is, like, where is it going to? Yeah. Like, when is it like? Is there going to be like a check that's like, okay, we figured it out. Yeah, now it's good. Like, it seems like it just gets more and more.
Well, it's like it's the same as like when we watch a Netflix show, right? When I watch every single show, it's like, there has to be like a gay person in there, or there has to be some kind of, every color. Like, but they have to push the narrative too, and it's like, dude, there's been gay people in
A lot of
shows, and like, you know, it's
Forever.
not. I don't care.
It's not in your face.
Yeah, like I don't care if
you're.
I don't give a shit if you're gay or not. It doesn't bother me. But like, why are you like forcing the narrative? Like it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I don't know. Maybe it's the younger generation or something that is like. I don't know. Maybe it's a younger generation that's super sensitive to.
Well, that's the thing. They're being taught that in college.
Right,
you know?
but like you got to think the younger generation. I don't think, like I would think there'd be less and less more like racist people, homophobic people, like all these people become.
Well,
less and
that's
less.
the thing. There is less. It's like in this day and age, there's less homophobia. There's less racism. There's less. And this is me. I grew up in the '80s, right? It was super racist in those days. You know, it was like really segregated. Like you only hung out with this group of people. You only hung out with that group of people. Because everybody was like fresh, like they're like immigrant children, right? So
right.
You know, and
that's the other thing too is like then though it probably wasn't like a race. It was probably just because language.
Just because you're like you're fresh from, you know, whatever country you're from, and now you're thrown into this melting pot of. So now you got to get used to. Everybody has like their culture that they grew up in. Right. So now, you know. Coming from my generation, right, we were the ones that sort of like integrated into each other, right? You know, and like I have friends of all races, of all, you know, of all types, whatever. You know, I don't care. I don't judge somebody by the color of their skin or their sexual preference. I only judge them by their character, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the thing is now like, but they're trying to divide everybody.
Even smaller, like you see, like, smaller, tighter it's the craziest thing ever. Like I don't know, like that's the really thing is you got to look at like the numbers, right? Like like I don't think I've ever, like maybe once in my life I've ever ran into someone that's like actual homophobe or actually racist. Like I've never actually met anybody. I don't know anybody. Like I don't know, like it's the craziest thing ever.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, like obviously like. People say things or they make jokes, you know, and maybe that might be inappropriate if you were to like say it in front. Like if you make a gay joke and then you have somebody who's gay there, you know, obviously that might be offensive to them or whatever. But if you have a certain, you know, like camaraderie with them, they probably don't even care, you know.
And I think that that certain person, like. Whoever it is, I'm not using anybody in particular, but like that certain person that gets offended about those jokes are probably going to get offended by a lot of things anyways. It's probably just that it's like everybody's different. We all have different minds, different things. And some people just are more offended by certain things. But like you always find your group and your situation that you are comfortable with that, you know, you can make those jokes and it's okay. You know, majority of people are like that. You can make those jokes and
majority of them. That's the thing. It's a small amount of people that feel like they need these like they need to be like sheltered from the real world, or they can't be ridiculed or criticized, or things they say is the law, or you know, like.
That's a good point. Like almost like saying you're like sheltered from it because it's almost like a protection thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be different if we make these rules, but like it's never really going to change it.
Yeah,
like,
it's not going to make it different. Yeah, it's not going to make the world a better place by.
Yeah, that's not going to change everything. It's I don't think. Well, maybe like in 20, 30 years or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, hopefully this culture war dies out soon, and hopefully it's dying. I think it's getting to the point where people are starting to see the bullshit behind it. You know, like with the whole Jesse Smollett thing, and also like. You know, like the Covington kids, and it's like
it's almost like it's got to go through like the system. It's got to get the checks and balances got to work out, right? So we went from like having nothing and just like kind of no regulation on like whatever you want to say, you know, as jokes or whatever, like schools, whatever, didn't matter. To like now it's like pushed to the far extreme. Like you can't really say anything. So like I guess you got to hope that it balances out, that people are like, okay, we know what a joke is now. Yeah. Like we get you're joking. You know, that's what you gotta guess.
Well, that's the thing. Like I always felt like for example, like bullying, for example, right? Like there's always gonna be bullies. There's always gonna be somebody. What you can't teach kids. You can't like protect them from that. There's always gonna be somebody that's a dick to somebody. You know what I mean? So what you gotta do is you gotta teach them to have thick skin. and to stand up for themselves. Yeah, you can't hide them in a room.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh, they hear, like, some gay kid hears a homophobic thing, or somebody says something, and they're gonna go cry in a room. Yeah. And or, you know, and it's
you have to yeah, you're right. So no matter what it is, they're always gonna have that one or two or whatever the people you're gonna run into. Always,
there's always gonna be somebody to be mean to you. Yeah,
there's a lot of people in the world. There's gonna be someone like that. So like, yeah, you're right. To overcome it, the only way to do it is to teach your kid, or to go through those things to be able to brush them off. And if you shelter your kid or shelter yourself from all that, like, you're not gonna be even ready to live in the world.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you'll just be like,
when the real world comes along,
just thrown off.
Then you're gonna, what are you gonna do? You know, like, when somebody doesn't give a shit, you gotta be able to stand up for yourself. You gotta be able to, you know.
Yeah, or just say, like, whatever and brush it off, like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah,
like, There's a lot of people that are just idiots.
Well, that's what I say to my kids all the time. It's like, you know, you can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you feel about how people treat you. You know, like, that's the only thing. You know, and that's what I say to my kids all the time.
It's good advice.
You know, because that's, you know, like, having the thick skin is what also, you know, that's what also brings confidence. You know, or it's like,
absolutely.
Someone says you're fucking ugly, or, you know, when you're in high school or you're in junior high, you're so sensitive to stuff. If somebody says you're fucking fat or you're ugly or blah blah blah, you know, you feel like it's the end of the world. You know, we have to teach these kids that high school is not the end of the world. That's not even close. After high school is when the real world starts. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's a lot of thing for kids going to school. They think that's it, right? Like,
they think that's the be all and end all of life, right? And that's why there's a lot of, like, suicides. You know, you hear a lot about these kids who are, like, bullied, and then they commit suicide. You know, but you gotta teach these kids, like, that's not. You know, that's not
even like the beginning. That's like the really beginning.
Yeah,
like, it's just like the.
When you start paying your bills and working, that's when the real stress starts, and that's what you got to prepare your kids for, right?
Yeah.
Because you gotta like work, and then there's a good chance you're gonna work with people that you don't like, but you have to stay there and you have to do that, or you have to, like, you know, it's all up to you to how you make your living and how you spend your money and the conditions you live in, right?
And you're definitely gonna run into a dick.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say. Actually, I would say we're pretty lucky in Winnipeg. Like maybe once a year, you run into this one guy you just can't get along with, it just being a jerk, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not a very common thing as you get older. Like, I think you get that tough skin, you just brush it off. But you definitely run into them.
Yeah, you do. But after a while, you just, like, you know, when you run into somebody that who's whatever, it's easier to brush off, or you just don't care, right? Yeah. You know, you just don't give a shit. You're just like, fuck that guy, you know?
Yeah. No, it's becoming a really weird time, but hopefully it'll kind of dial its way back in.
I really hope so, because it's something that it's pushing us back. We're not, like, evolving.
Yeah, it's almost like it's wrecking. It's slowing us all down. Slowing us down. And that's the thing too. A lot of people say is, like, the big thing is, like, social media is relatively, it's such a new thing. Like, realistically,
it's only been, like, the last, not even, like, 10 years probably.
10 years or something, yeah. So, like, it's such a new thing. Like, so a lot of that has to do with, I think, a lot of these regulations and rules, how to do how to communicate to people and things like that. Like, I think that's a lot of it, why they're making all this stuff, is because it's a tough thing to censor, like, or like, to control, because you got such a big platform. It's so easy to communicate to so many people. So you got to have some rules set and some things, but it's so new, you don't know how to do it. Like, no one's done this before.
Yeah,
it's a pretty crazy thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when you're online and you're saying shit, it's like it's almost like it's an impersonal. Like, you know,
there's no repercussions.
Yeah, there's no repercussions. No, like, you can just say whatever bullshit online, and then you don't get any, you know, and you don't get any backlash or you know,
it's different than, like, saying it to someone's face.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few things that you wouldn't say to somebody's face that you would just type it in on their computer, because you're just a fucking face behind a computer, right?
Yeah, yeah. Create a different name and just be a dick. Like, it's just.
Well, there's people who do that, right? Like, they're trolls, right?
Yeah, they just do that.
They just go on just to be dicks, right?
It's just it's crazy. I can't live a life like that. I don't even want to do that. But I guess there's people out there. There's so many different kinds of people out there. This is gonna be awesome. I'm just gonna go and make fun of a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on, be racist or be whatever, and blah, 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 and just try to, like, get a reaction, you know, and just sit there, and it's like, why do you do that, man? Like, you don't need to do that, right? Like, you could be.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Captain Marvel 210. February 10th. What's that? Kevin says
2 of 10. Is that what you?
Yeah. What's that mean?
Rated 2 out of 10, maybe.
Oh, was it 2 out of 10? That was what it was. Is that new movie?
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Well, I watched a lot of reviews on that, and it was overwhelmingly mediocre. Like everybody's like, it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like wow or anything, you know. And it was just like too much social justice in there. Like,
was there? Yeah.
Yeah, there was like one scene where she's like battling these aliens, and then the No Doubt I'm Just a Girl in the World. That was the song that they used.
Really?
You know? Yeah, like they're so pushing this. Like when I watch a movie or when I play video games or when I do whatever, I don't want political bullshit mixed in there. You know?
Hate
and
it.
It's such a turnoff. Like,
I hate that. Like, I hate, especially like my wife and I like start watching a show or whatever, or if you watch like the Junos or the whatever it is, and you start getting into like you have like a big actor or big actress getting up there and they're start getting into like political things. I automatically I'm turning it off because I'm like that's not your job. Dude. Like stop influencing all this stuff.
Well, that's the thing. These fucking celebrities, they don't know shit about the real world.
Yeah, the richest one. Yeah. Like, shit. Like, how do you know?
You're talking about this and that, and then meanwhile you live in the Hollywood Hills in your mansion
with like 20 security guards.
Yeah, you know. And then like there's so many of them. Like for example, they'll be like they're so against Trump and the wall, right? Like no, like the wall is we can't build the wall. And meanwhile they live in a fucking fenced off like gated community with walls and shit. Like you know.
No walls.
Yeah, and then it's not like they're inviting anybody to come live in their 10-room mansion or you know.
Yeah, get behind the wall. Yeah, I know it's messed up.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's my opinion. Is like, I don't mind. I'm welcome to people coming to Canada. Like, I'm an immigrant. You know,
we're all immigrants.
I'm 100% immigrant. You know, great, but you can't just like have an influx of people coming without any. They have to be willing to assimilate into our society. They can't come here and expect us to cater to their culture. You know what I mean? Like they have to come here and assimilate into Canadian culture because you're in Canada now, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? The thing that bothers me is you're bringing all these people in. They're not going to like Charleswood, and they're not going to like the rich areas.
No.
They're going into the hood.
Yeah.
Right? Where there's already hood people, where there's like natives and you know what I mean? Like, and how do you think natives feel about, you know, immigrants from Somalia
like living around
in their neighborhood, you know?
Yeah.
Where they're not like they're struggling, and then you have a new group of people coming in that are getting, you know, financial support from the government and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be conflict there. There's a
lot of conflict there, and it's not even just like it's just immigrant. You have to just do it properly and not force it. Like it just seems like it's just getting forced in.
It's 100 being
it's like
forced.
if you talk about the First Nation people, you talk about everything. Everyone's getting affected by it because you know everyone's. You got to pay more tax. You gotta deal with people that don't understand our culture. We got to change all the way we talk. Not that it's bad. I'm not against it. It's just like if you did it a slower, proper, you know, like a legal way, not just and the bad thing too is you hear a lot of like other way to look at it is like there's a lot of shitty places that are like a lot of shitty situations going on in the world, you know, like really bad where they don't have bombs are going off and things like that. Like you can imagine like all of a sudden like people are like bombing Winnipeg and stuff like that, and then all you're trying to do is take your family, because there is obviously out of those people there's a lot of them that actually, you know, need a place to go.
Need a sanctuary
Place to go. So that's where it gets like confusing is like you got to help. You still have to try to help people and not like close off the world and say like, no, you can't come here. You can't be here. You can't do anything. Like you have to let people in that really need it because there's a lot of big problems out there. So it becomes a really tricky situation. Like to just say no one's allowed to. You can't come, you can't do this. Like there's a lot of people that need the help, but I really think that they got to do a better job at vetting people and getting more information, and you know, make sure no one's criminals, make sure nobody's you know, that was a murder in their country or something like that. You know what I mean? You have to do better vetting stuff because we all have you know, you gotta have kids here, things like that. You don't want to have, you know, someone like living your next neighbor that maybe was a murderer in another country. Like
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's nobody saying no to immigration. Like, you know, Canada is a very welcoming country, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's saying no to immigration. But what I'm saying is, you can't just have a huge influx of people coming in, undocumented, no
you
background.
need that. You have to have a proper documentation, and I think they probably do a pretty good job of it, or a really good job of it. But when you have so many rushing in, or like the thing when they were all coming through the border down south, it's like there's only you only have so many cops, right?
Yeah.
Like they only can work so many hours.
Yeah.
They can't stand there all day. They're only doing their best, and then these people sneak in. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like when they have to be willing to assimilate into Canadian culture. That's my issue. Is, you know, when my family came here, my parents made me go to church, right? Because they wanted me to see Canadian life and Canadian culture, and you know, like, we assimilated. We became, you know, we still held our culture. We still did our, you know, cultural things, but at the same time, you have to be, you know, you have to be willing. You can't, like, bring here and try to enforce the rules of your country.
yeah, you can't really.
Right? Just like you look at other places, like Sweden right now is they had a huge influx of like all these immigrants, right? And now they're trying to, like, impose their rules. Like, there's certain places where you can't even go. Yeah, there's no go zones because, you know, because there's too many. They allowed in all these undocumented gangsters, right? And then it's unsafe for them to go there. Yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the immigration issue? Because Trudeau just signed a thing to. He signed a pact to have like 5 million people immigrate to Canada, right?
That's true.
Yeah, he just signed a thing. So it's like, you look at places like and there's certain places in England, it's like pure Muslims, like a whole area of Muslims. You can't go there unless you're Muslim.
Yeah.
So yeah. What do you guys feel about that? Your personal rating? 2 out of 10. It was that bad? Yeah, because I watched a lot of reviews, and it was like 5 out of 10. You know. Yeah, exactly. The UK, they rushed in so many immigrants that there's no go zones. You can't go there unless you're Muslim. You, like, women can't even wear. You know, the women, they can't walk there without being harassed if they're not covered up, or they're not with a man. There's been so many cases of like women getting assaulted and stuff.
You see a lot of that on the news. Like, I'm sure a lot of it is true, but is it? I'm sure it's that bad. I don't know, though. I've never been there.
I've never been there either, but I mean, like, you know, there's been.
You see a lot of weird shit.
You see a lot, yeah. You know, like I've seen videos of people going to do, like, even like reporters. They'll go there to do like a story there, and they get chased out, or they get threatened. Like, you shouldn't be here. Why are you
throwing
here?
Rocks at
Shit, like, you gotta get the fuck out of here, or else.
That is crazy too, though. It's that's what happens when you overload it. What does that say? There's some information coming out of that. Disney spends large amounts of money to inflate ticket sales numbers for Captain America. For 100% sure it's true yet. They spent.
Well, there's a thing where they're so trying to push Captain Marvel because there was so much backlash from all the thing that Brie Larson said, right? that there was like, you know, you can buy like, you can like pre-buy tickets for movies, right?
Okay, yeah.
They made it so that you can only pre-buy Captain Marvel tickets.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah. So that, because they really wanted that movie to like succeed, and it didn't do bad. It didn't do bad. Like, I think the opening weekend they made like 400-500 million like worldwide, you know. So it's like not bad. It's like on average, it's not the best for a Marvel movie, but like they're trying to force you to watch it, you know. They're like,
I haven't even watched it. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of. I find that like a lot of like movies now like are kind of repeats. Like there's not a lot of new ideas coming out.
Well, that's the thing. They're all just recycling a bunch of stuff, you know. And
yeah, it's like they're redoing a lot of old movies now. Like Dumbo's coming out. They have all these like old.
Oh, they're like live. They're making like live.
Versions.
Live action versions of it. Yeah. Like they're coming out with Aladdin too.
Yeah,
you know?
They're just redoing all these movies and changing them now. So now you'll have different characters or different situations in the movies.
Yeah.
To make like, so you go back now in like 50 years, you look back, that's going to be the Aladdin that everyone remembers, right? So they just redo these things, which is kind of crazy. Which I think it's a lot to do with, we live in this world in like North America, right, where you think that all these movies are just for us, but they're making them for the world, right? So if you go on like the Harry Potters, or you go on the Marvels, or you go on this, like it's easy for people to follow that in the world because they're translating them and doing all this stuff, right? You sell a lot more tickets around the world if it's an easy sell.
Well, I mean, like a lot of people are complaining, for example, the Aladdin movie. They're like, because Will Smith is the genie and stuff like that, and the CGI looks like ass.
Really?
Right? Yeah, it looks pretty stupid. But anyways, they're like saying, you know, like a lot of people complaining you're ruining Aladdin, blah blah blah, and stuff like. And then it's like, in my mind, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not like a big Disney movie fan guy, you know. Like I've watched them with my kids and stuff, but I'm not like, oh my god, Dumbo or fucking, you know. But it's like, they're not, these movies they're not making them for you anymore. Like the people that when Aladdin first came out, those people are like 30, 40, you know, like in their 30s now, you know. So
you're getting offended about it. Like
now this new live action one is not made for you. It's made for little kids who haven't seen Aladdin yet, or who haven't, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So it's like, like what are they supposed to do? Like make it,
but
you know,
exact
like Robin Williams is dead. What do you want? You know, like he's not around anymore. So.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm not laughing that he's dead. I'm just laughing at it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. True. Yeah, like.
Well, these fucking actors are not even around.
Like I'm not gonna watch. I'm not like, for me, when I saw the Aladdin trailer, I'm like, whatever. Like I'm not gonna watch Aladdin. Go out on my way to watch Aladdin. You know, I'll watch it if my kids want to watch it. Maybe I'll watch it with my kids one night. But I'm not gonna.
You're not going.
I'm not like, ooh, Aladdin.
You're not going to
like,
Blockbuster.
Fucking, you fucked up Aladdin. Why did the fuck you? You know?
That's a good point. Yeah, it's not made for.
It's not made for me. It's not my target audience, right? Like so, it's the same thing with Captain Marvel. Like.
It's made for the younger generation now.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
some
for,
of the young kids can look up
they're
to
trying to empower women, whatever. Blah. I'm not the target audience for that. So
yeah,
why am I going to complain about that? You know, like.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but also don't throw it in everyone's face.
That's the thing. Yeah, they like over killed it with the feminism and the girl power and blah blah blah. You know, and it's like you can do that without being a dick about it. You know what I mean? That they were like, oh, this is not made for white men and blah blah blah. You know, like you can make a movie without being a dick about it. Like look at Wonder Woman. You know, that's like across the board, everybody liked that movie.
Yeah, it was good.
You know,
it was pretty good.
And that's the thing. It's like they're trying to make it. There's a thing is they call them Mary Sue's, which is like a girl that can. It ruins it because the girl's like good at everything. There's no, you know, she has no weaknesses and no like, you know, and that's like Captain Marvel is she's like invincible. Nobody can stop her, and then it like ruins it because. They don't have, like, you can't relate to that, you know, like they don't have any, you know, what's like you look at Wonder Woman, for example. The why Wonder Woman's so good is because she has this like motherly innocence about her. She wants to take care of humankind. She wants to like think, but she has no clue what the real world is like. And that comes, then the other guy, I forget what his name is, Chris, the co-star anyways, he's the one that like tells her like, you know, we're human, we have wars, like
brings the reality
brings the reality check to her. And there's an innocence about Wonder Woman that she's naive and she feels like
that's
she
her
wants
fault
that's her fault, you know. And then when you have somebody who's like good at, that's why the Star Wars movies fucking failed, because the girl in the Star Wars movie, she's like suddenly she's just good at she can fly the ship like a fucking she can fix this like she's like or she battles these these cis warriors like they're nothing, meanwhile like it's like you can't be perfect, like
it kind of ruins
it because then you lose the
wonder if she'll win. Well, she's gonna win.
Yeah, she can't die. She's like immortal, right? Like she has these powers that are like she's good at everything, can fly anything, can fight anybody, and it's like yawn, right?
Yeah, it is kind of a yawning situation.
Well, that's why Game of Thrones when is so popular is because none of the characters are invincible. Like they can. You watch Game of Thrones?
I've watched. It's funny because everyone says how amazing it is. I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And I guess it was kind of like boring, so I never went through. And everyone says you got to get past that.
Oh yeah, you gotta keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen, but I know what you mean because the characters in there are.
What's the thing? Like you could have a favorite character and you don't know if they're gonna die.
Oh, really?
That's the best part about Game of Thrones is that none of the characters are invincible. They could get killed at any moment.
Yeah.
And that's what's like.
That's what you want to watch.
Yeah, that's what you want to watch. Then you can like you have that feeling of like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? Yeah,
sneak out of there. Yeah, things like that. That's an important thing, I guess. If someone's invincible, that's no fun. It's like Superman. Even Superman has like a thing. Like Kryptonite is like he's not like really invincible. He's like one of the best superheroes, but like he's got a bad one too. You want to read that?
What better living, especially when you become old? Owning a condo, apartment, or a home, or renting a condo, apartment, or home. I guess he's asking, what's better to own a condo, or apartment, or a home?
Well, it's a good question. Depends on things like that. I'll say is it really depends on the kind of person you are. Right.
I think it depends on what do you want. Like, like for example, you and I both own homes, right?
Yeah.
So my peeve is, fuck, I got to cut grass.
Right.
Fuck, I got to shovel.
There's a lot of.
I feel like if you lived in a condo, you don't have to do that shit, right?
Right. The other benefit too is if you live in a home, you have a yard.
Yeah.
Condo, you don't have a yard.
Well, that's the thing. My main benefit is that that's your space, right? When you live in an apartment, which my wife and I did when we first, when you live in an apartment. Now you're sharing space with other people. You can't be loud. You can't you can't do this or that. Same with the condo. But with the condo, you have the luxury of not having to shovel your.
Yeah, it's living in a condo is similar to living in an apartment, except you own it.
Except you own it,
and you can sell it.
Yeah,
and you don't have to do the yard work and do all the other chores. But there's a lot of things. It really comes down to the individual. I think Mr. Giggles asked this question. Said, what would you rather have, apartment condo or a house? I think it really comes down to the individual. I've done all 3 of those.
Have
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's like a home for me is definitely good, but yeah, I hate like.
And then with the home, you have to like
upkeep a lot.
It's definitely a lot more money, but I feel like the thing I like about a home is that it's yours, it's your space, and. I mean, you can like work around, like for me, I don't cut my grass. I pay somebody to come cut my grass. I mean, I'll pay somebody to shovel my, it's just like, it's easier than, it depends on how you feel your time is worth.
Yeah. What you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you don't do.
Like my dog shit, like my dog. I pay somebody to come. Yeah. The same lady that cuts my grass cleans the dog shit, because I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like that's the thing is, so there's always ways around the home, but the big difference is I think it's an individual decision. That's the thing is like life is it's how you want to live it, right? Like there's no right way to do it. That's the best thing about living in a free country. Like you really can, whatever way you want to do it. No one can tell you any different.
Yeah, you can pick and choose. Like like I have a dog, so. In a condo, I might not be able to have a big dog, or it's like, like it's nice for me to be able to be like, he's got to go out to the bathroom. I just open my door and he just goes into my yard, and then
there'll be a lot of dog shit in my condo.
Oh, yeah. Well, I see some people, they have condos and they just let their dog into the balcony and stuff. It's like, Like, yeah.
That's if you have a dog, you don't want a condo.
No. In an apartment, you can't even have a dog. So you can have a cat, maybe.
Yeah, I know. So what's going on? How long have we been on for?
What time do we start? Started like 9:30.
Yeah.
Let's go at 10 more minutes, and
we'll do 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, yeah.
A couple viewers on, 3, 4.
That's pretty good. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us while we're rambling about
different things.
Rambling.
Different issues. If you haven't subscribed, it would.
Oh yeah, hook us up with a subscription.
Hit the subscription, and it'd be good. But
we're gonna go on for another 10 minutes or so, and then call it a night.
Yeah, call it a night. Shows the other views didn't show up. It's too bad that you guys didn't get my Dominican views, like that thing for the sound for Dominican. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. Nobody else could hear.
Yeah.
We could hear you, but nobody else could hear us.
Yeah. No, that is what it is. No, but yeah, it's supposed to be nice all week, which is a good thing. I'm looking forward to that. +8, 10, 12, I think 10 all week.
Speaking of dog shit, now that the weather is getting warmer, I'm gonna landmine in my, and then it's worse because it's gonna be like soggy.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, the spring cleanup stuff. There's a bad thing about owning a home. It's like all the little things like spring cleanups, like you're taking out patio furniture. It's like you just bitch about all these good things that we have. It's like, fuck.
Well, yeah, right. Like, there's all like, what was it? Like, oh, people complain about, having to pay for your electricity bill or paying for your.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you have
a choice.
You have a home. You should be grateful that you have a home, or you have a car, or you have this and that. There's people that don't have that, right? And then it's like.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like if you want to bitch about it, like you really don't have to have electricity.
you really don't. You really, if you wanted to, you could live in a tent in the middle of the.
Just tell them not to put your electricity on. Just say, I turn off my electricity. But yeah, that's gonna suck. That'll suck. No, there's a lot of good things, and that's the thing too. Like when you travel and you like when I was in Dominican, like it's pretty sad that like how a lot of the rest of the world lives. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah,
they don't know any different, which is kind of a blessing for them. Yeah, but it's a pretty sad thing that we have all this stuff. Like you only travel 5 hours on a plane, and it's like, holy shit, dude! Like you seriously have no shoes, and you're like running on gravel, stones, and you're happy.
That was in the Dominican. It's worse than Cuba.
I found it was
in terms of like standard of living.
I don't know if it really is, because in Cuba I never really left off the resort. Like we were in Veradero, and Veradero is like the city is still kind of like a resort town, right? So I would have to say it's got to be pretty dang close. It's got to be pretty dang close to the same quality of living. It's nothing like us, I'll tell you that much. We have it pretty damn good. It's pretty amazing to think. And there's a lot of people that bitch too, like we don't have it. What's that? Yeah. There's always lots of options. There's a lot of opportunities to make money here if you just want to work. That's the only thing. You just want to work.
You gotta be willing to hustle, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's realistically, like, in perspective, it's like Super just saying in the back, you gotta be willing to hustle. But like in perspective, it's not really even that much hustling. It's just actually going to work. You just got to be able to just show up on time, actually wanna work, wanna make some money, and it's pretty basic stuff. It's not rocket science stuff. If you want to just have a regular job for making $25,000 a year or whatever,
Well, you gotta wanna do something, right? Like you can't expect it to be handed to you. You gotta want it. Yeah, you gotta want it.
We talked about that before, yeah. You do.
Like we're both business owners, so it's like it didn't come easy. It wasn't like
and it still isn't, right?
Still isn't. No,
it's just a pain in the butt. It's like you're never never really not working in a way.
Well, that's what a lot of people are always like, oh, you're so lucky you own your own business and you're your own boss and stuff. And it's like, yeah, totally, 100%. But you're a slave to your business. You know, like you don't make money unless you know, it's not like sometimes I feel like I wish I had a job where I just like punch in a clock.
I'm totally like
pick,
that.
You know, right? And then go home and not have to think about my job.
When you leave, you just turn the light off.
And and then you never think about it again. But
it's not like that. So there's you know, but like you said, there's a lot of opportunity in Winnipeg compared to like those countries there. Like it's pretty bad. Dominican is like open your eyes a little bit when you were in that driving through those small towns and stuff.
Small, like,
holy shit. Like,
well, like even in Cuba and Veradero, I was like, man, this like they just kind of like they don't like repair any buildings. They don't like
no money,
you know what I mean?
Shit. You know
I mean, where's the government? Where like why are they not?
Yeah.
You know, like their influx of like tourism and stuff like that. Like you think they would like put money back into the infrastructure and like
government's just taking it.
Yeah, because I like when Veradero, we went to the mall there and it was like, it was like a mini mall. I was like, you can't even buy anything. Like what am I? Toys and like ice cream. That was it. You know, there wasn't like a clothing store. There wasn't, you know.
Almost like Veradero though. Like when I was there, it seemed like the city was built for just tourists though. It's not like
100%.
Real city.
Yeah.
It's like such just like a
well, because that's their whole fucking how they make money, right? Is based on their whole economy. So
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. So what do you want to do? You want to wrap this up or?
Yeah, might as well. Let's go.
That's some views. Well, we're gonna sign off, guys. We've been on for some time now.
Pretty much like almost 2 hours already.
2 hours, and Vic had to leave you. Sorry, he's our battery like just went on too. So, but if you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and you know
we do this every Sunday, guys. So please tune in next week.
Yeah, Sunday around 8:30 is when we try to get up. We're still kind of new at this, so we appreciate you guys coming on.
And we got some guests coming in the next. We'll have some guests, some really cool guests coming and joining us. So.
Josh said night. Hey, Josh. Good night. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, good night.
Please give us a subscription, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys absolutely next week. I'm just going to sign off here. See you guys later. Thanks a lot, eh?